Switch my mic.
Campanelli.
Wolf Pack, what is going on? Wolf Pack, what is going on? It's your boy Wolf of Grocery. GroceryJones.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves here with your week 2 sit start show. As always, I'm joined by my man CJay today. Tons to break down. As we've talked about, just like the most chaotic week 1 of all time last week in the preseason, so many injuries. Doesn't seem to be clearing up all that much. A lot to break down. Although a couple studs, especially at the tight end position, returning today. So pumped to see that. We will dive into some Thursday night football takeaways and all that good stuff. But before we dive in, my man CJay, how's the weekend going? How we doing, brother?
Hey, can't complain. As we were just talking about, got seen out in the wild for the first time, which is pretty cool. Random guy.
Exactly. We've made it. We've officially made it. Spotted out in Boston. Such good stuff. I'd love to hear it as we continue to grow over there. Celebrities at this point. I've gotten it in Beverly a couple times just because you're friends of friends and whatnot, but never out in the city. You know, it's just a complete random.
I should have taken off the shirt and autographed with him.
Yeah, give it off his back, show up to work shirtless. You do it for the fans, of course. I'm kind of disappointed you didn't, to be honest. No, that's perfect. So I just got back from Connecticut, ripped up early this morning, so that was always a good time. A bar crawl with the in-laws, always a good time for sure. So a little hurting, but we are doing good here. So we're just going to start, as we always do, the audience growing here with some Thursday night football takeaways. So let me just pull up the banner here. 1 second. Thank you guys for your patience. I know it's a little bit. I just got home like 45 minutes ago, so a little bit off. But Thursday night football takeaways. For me, the biggest one definitely was DeAndre Swift exploding. Welcome to that RB1 range, potentially. Let's dive in real quick and talk about that. 28 carries, 175 yards, and a touchdown. The 175, a career high. He did have 3 catches for 6 yards, so not much as a receiver, which was supposed to be DeAndre Swift's biggest strengths here. But he ultimately dominated in the workload. 75% of snaps, 77% of running back carries, 13% target share, 54% of the routes, 100% of goal line work. I mean, it all just continues to stack up and up. No Philly running back hit any of those marks in a single game last year, that being 77% of carries or 13% target share. Miles Sanders only had 1 game of 70% rush share and 10% market share. So this was the biggest workload performance we've seen out of an Eagles back in quite some time, certainly in the Jalen Hurts era. And Swift did nothing to dissuade them from going away from, yes, I get it, Gainwell was out. But if you think Gainwell is going to reclaim this starting role after watching that, you must just not watch the game if that's what you think, because Swift just looked so damn good. He was used so well, too. This tweet out from Pat Thorman I thought was a great one. He only went up the middle between the guards 4 times on the night, 2.3 yards per attempt. That's not what Swift does well. Outside the guards 24 times, which is what he does best, getting out in space, using that speed to outrun the defense. 6.9 yards per attempt, 9 missed tackles forced. I just thought he ran harder, more decisive, more physical than I've really ever seen Swift look. I can't imagine Gainwell comes back and sniffs this job at this point, given how much more dynamic DeAndre Swift, with those 25 fantasy points as well, looking great. I thought that was by far the biggest takeaway of the game. And when I do my rest of season rankings come Monday, he's definitely going to be getting a huge boost up. Am I nuts, CJay, or do you think Gainwell will, after seeing 62% of the snaps and workload first week, is he going to come back in and make this muddy, or is this going to be the Swift show? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say, you trust that coaching staff to just go away from their committee?
Kind of. I really do. I think Swift was just that much better. I don't imagine they're going to go back to him. I was pumped, too, because it's like the first stopwatch I've gone out in a while. I had a quick hour off at school and banged it out. I said, play Swift where you have him. I think he's going to do well, and he sure enough made me look smart. So pumped to see that as well. Penny, meanwhile, only 9 snaps on the night, 3 touches, barely doing anything with it other than getting a penalty on a big A.J. Brown touchdown. So that was brutal for A.J. Brown owners. Penny, complete and utterly useless. He can be cut at this point. He was playing even behind Boston Scott. It took a Scott injury for him to ultimately get worked in. So I don't think you need to hold on to Penny. He's explosive as he can be, and if other injuries, Swift, that's the risk with him. And that's why I can't send him up too high on the big board, because as you bring up, CJay, it is a tough coaching staff to trust historically in terms of the running back usage, and ultimately there's a big extensive injury history with DeAndre Swift as well. So a little bit concerned there in that sense, but ultimately really pumped to see that for him. It was as good as he's ever looked. Meanwhile, the Eagles passing game, of course, I'm facing Devonta Smith, so he had a huge night. 131 yards, touchdown, 5 targets, 4 catches. Beastly, very efficient night. Goddard, meanwhile, 7 targets. They're kind of force-feeding it. Let's get him involved. Only 6 catches, 22 yards. Not what you want to see from these first 2 weeks, but I do think better days are ahead. Similarly, not what you want to see out of A.J. Brown. 4 catches, 29 scoreless yard. Should have had a 25-yard touchdown, but that Rashad Penny holding penalty definitely took that away. So like fantasy night to forget for him. But if you can somehow buy low on A.J. Brown after a mediocre start to the year, he's still a beast. He's still running out there. I don't know if you saw that clip, CJ, where he like went to Hurts and kind of complained, and then 4 straight targets the next 4 plays. Like they're still boys. It's gonna work out okay. And then your boy, I wanted to kind of give you the floor real quick. Jordan Addison, talking about the Vikings passing game. Kirk Cousins just continues to be the most unsexy but high upside guy. 364 yards, 4 scores, just torching these guys deep. Of course, Justin Jefferson, 11, 159, 14 targets, barely missing a touchdown added to that total as well. Just ho-hum, another day at the office for him. And Hawkinson going completely bonkers, 66 yards, 2 scores on 7 catches, 8 targets. But Jordan Addison, the guy that I have still been hesitant to trust, and I still don't know exactly what to make out of it. He looks great, 3 catches, 72 yards, a score. He seems to be consistently getting open deep, given that attention that Justin Jefferson draws, but it's still only 5 targets. It did, ultimately jump up his 67% route rate week 1 to 78% in week 2. You love to see that, but Osborne did play more snaps, did see more targets, also scored the touchdown. What's your feeling on Jordan Addison these days, CJ? I know you've been a big Addison guy.
Yeah, the only thing that is concerning is just that he is behind Osborne still. I mean, he's still a rookie, so he is going to eventually, I think, overtake him. He's the better player. He is kind of hard to trust. He's very touchdown dependent. So, I mean, I love what I'm seeing. It's just that we're not seeing the volume and we're not seeing the snap share quite yet. But I think it's slowly going to go up from here.
Yeah, I mean, again, back-to-back. He's one of those guys that just he continues to get it done. In 2 games so far, 2 touchdowns. He just seems like one of those guys that's going to consistently do that. It's going to suck the game that he doesn't score, but I feel like more often than not, we're going to just see those Addison highlights popping up.
And the thing, too, is that in college, he wasn't really a deep threat at all, and those are his 2 touchdowns are off bombs. So nice to see that he's adding that to his game. Yeah,
absolutely. And he's getting off. A lot of concern was that he struggled to get off the press in college, and that's going to carry over to the NFL game, and that has not been the case so far. Maybe it's more creative usage because they're moving him around well, disguising him, but he has definitely been getting open whenever he's getting used. Just love to see the targets, the route share continue to keep getting bumped up. Last takeaway from this game is Alexander Madison absolutely sucks. Might be the worst NFL running back at this point. 8 carries, 28 yards, couple receptions for 11 yards as well. Ugh, it's gross. And so far, he's had 78% of the backfield touches, 25 total, 83 yards on 3.3 yards per touch. It is just not good. I don't know that there's much else behind him. Ty Chandler, it can't be much worse than this. But this kind of goes back. Everybody, when Cook was out, he was an absolute monster. But that was before this kind of shitty Kevin O'Connell offense. Dalvin Cook wasn't even that good in this system. I thought he looked pretty good with the Jets the other night. So I just don't think to expect any real running back to yield any value, whether it remains Madison and he just continues to suck and he gets a touchdown, he's okay for you. Other than that, it sucks. Maybe Chandler takes over. I don't think you want anything to really do with this backfield. Any other takeaways from Thursday night that I'm missing, CJ?
I don't think so. I mean, it was a fun game. I like the
It was.
I like the Vikings backdoor covering and with a minute left. Although on Underdog, I hit 4 out of 5. My 1-5 that I missed was Kirk Cousins to throw an interception. Of course, they turned the ball over 4 times and not 1 interception.
I was just gonna say they turned the ball over a shitload. None of those were picks. That's brutal. Oh man, that is just bad. That's how it goes. That's how exactly. Just kick you right in the balls. You're so close.
Probably the first time in his career he hasn't thrown an interception on prime time.
Yeah, he always does. Oh man, that would have been my favorite of all those picks. Damn, that's too bad. Well, we'll now move on to the news, guys. As we do, there's about 30 questions already in the mailbag. You'd love to see that. About 30 of you with us here. We had almost 60 of you here last week, so we'd love to keep that getting out there. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, if you don't mind sharing this out on Facebook, YouTube, if you're on Twitter, hitting that heart, getting the retweets. It does greatly help us. If you are watching this on Twitter, please do consider joining on YouTube because that's where your questions will actually pop up. The call-on line is open as well. And, of course, Super Chats are a good way to skip the line and, of course, support your boys. But the freeway, as always, is that thumbs up button, continuing to help us get out to more people. There's no quarterback news that I noted this week, so we're going to bounce right into the running back position. At the top, Austin Ekeler, the big absence this week. He is out. The question becomes, do you sit or start Josh Kelley in his absence? Some of you might not have a choice. I do not think he's a bad start by any means. Our guy Scott Barrett tweeting out that the Chargers backfield had by far the most expected fantasy points as a collective unit. Austin Ekeler actually led all running backs in expected fantasy points, and that was with Josh Kelley getting 16 carries. So this is a ripe environment for running back value. I do worry a little bit, one, that Tennessee is the league's premier pass funnel. They are the second fewest points allowed to running backs in the league this year. They were the fewest last year, and they remain horrendous on the secondary and are also down 2 of their starting safeties. So to me, my case against Kelley isn't necessarily Kelley himself. It's more so that I think Justin Herbert's just going to go completely bonkers, that Kellen Moore's smart enough to recognize you can do so much more damage against this defense through the air. Even when we get up big, that's what we're going to do. So I expect Kelley to be fine, maybe like 60-ish yards, and then it just matters if he gets to the end zone or not. He should be a more better than a coin flip or not to get into the end zone. I'm not in love with it. It kind of reminds me of Jamal Williams, like an unexciting talent in a man environment, getting all the volume. Jamal Williams didn't do anything with it last week, and I could see a similar outcome here. What's your opinion on Kelley, though? Are you higher than me, CJ? Because a lot of people love him this week.
No, I'm not. I have him on one of my teams, and I'm not starting him. I forget who's starting over him for me, but yeah, I'm kind of with you there. He's like not. I don't know. I'm not excited by the player. The situation's obviously great, and the volume probably pretty good, but I'm not really into it.
Yeah, let us know if you guys do have Kelley questions. I believe he's slotted into my running back 26 spot, so it's certainly on you can definitely start him. It's again the starting running back in one of the best offenses in the league, the backfield that had the most expected fantasy points to start this year, and even dating back to last, tons of targets to the backs. We've seen Justin Jackson come in and have 35-point days, so there is a ceiling here. Absolutely, he's only 5K on DraftKings as well. I just personally am thinking this becomes a much more pass-centric attack. Another big move at the backfield, and I want to kind of start at the top with this, is that D'Onta Foreman's a healthy scratch. That's big news, not necessarily because you're going to force in Khalil Herbert or Roschon Johnson to your lineups today, but this becoming a 2-headed nightmare instead of a 3-headed one is really significant for the rest of season value here, and especially for Roschon Johnson. He ended up playing just as many snaps last week as Khalil Herbert. He dominated the third down work as well, scored a touchdown, looked like a grown man while doing it. I really like Roschon. I think he has the talent to outplay and outperform Khalil Herbert. And now that the D'Onta Foreman block is already out of his way, and we redone our waiver wire rankings of last week, and I've known that this was going to be a 2-headed backfield, he probably would have been number 3 on my list, behind only Kyron Williams and Puka, maybe Josh Kelley as well ahead of him, and then Roschon Johnson right up there at the top. So he's still only 33% rostered, though. Go out, get him right now. Again, I don't love starting him, but as a Hail Mary, he was my Hail Mary running back on the Wednesday stream we did this week. I definitely feel even better about that call now that D'Onta Foreman's out of his way. So go out, pick up Roschon Johnson wherever he's out there. I dropped Tank Bigsby as a example of what you might do. I dropped Tank Bigsby in a league to go pick up Roschon. And even in a league where I have pretty good receiver depth, I actually dropped Elijah Moore for him, which Amari Cooper might be out, and I might look like a complete idiot after that, but I just need running back so much more. Moore's just never sniffing my lineup, it doesn't seem. So whereas Roschon could end up getting that running back 2 spot should he take over this backfield. So go check for Roschon Johnson in your leagues. He's definitely a premier pickup. Beat the rush. Don't have to blow all your fab on tomorrow or Tuesday, rather. Adam Schefter also reporting Aaron Jones expected to miss the game. Dylan looked horrendous last week. I think it was 13 carries for 19 yards. Not overly efficient, but we know when he gets the work in this backfield, he typically does find the end zone. So I think he's a high floor, decent ceiling here too. I do think that Atlanta, the one thing about these type of weapons, Atlanta's just going to bleed the clock, and it's not going to be a shootout, and it's going to be a quick-moving game. So that's the one thing to worry a little bit about here, especially if Atlanta does get up early. But Dylan can catch. He can play in every facet. The next man up is Patrick Taylor, so I don't expect this to be much other than the A.J. Dillon show. He's a top 20 running back for me, running back 19 right now in my rankings, and more of a volume play than anything. I actually, a question for me involves our next news note. Is Breece Hall expected to be on a pitch count remaining on that for week 2 and against a tough Cowboys defense? He still looks so damn good on just limited touches.
That is so good.
So he's kind of like the opposite plays here, CJ. Is Dillon the pure volume bet, unexciting talent right now? Breece Hall pitch count, but a electric player. Which one would you go? I have him running back 18 and 19, and I've gotten that question a couple times.
I have Breece Hall locked into my lineup.
Yeah.
In that situation too, I think I'm going Breece. He's such a home run hitter. He looked fantastic. He did look a little bit slower on that 80-yard run, which makes sense. I mean, he missed the entire season.
First action.
But no, I would probably go Breece there.
I would too. He's the one I have higher. I like to side on the talent when it's that close. Even though running back is more of a volume-driven position, he just looks so good. The matchup is scary. I mean, I could see Dallas just swallowing this team just like they swallowed the Giants. But I think this will be a little bit more of a battle here. So I like them to lean on Breece Hall now that they're turning the keys over to Zach Wilson. Ooh, that'll be a nightmare. I guess the quarterback news, did you see Aaron Rodgers is expected to be back for the playoffs, or wants to be at least? I was expected to.
Yeah, he tried some crazy new surgery, of course. So it's a different Achilles surgery.
Of course. My favorite part of his rehab process. Did you hear what else he's doing as part of his rehab process? Insane.
What?
Listening to dolphins mating.
Oh yeah.
Toss on the dolphin porno to heal up that Achilles, baby. What better than that? What the hell? He is the weirdest fucking dude in the world. Honestly, I kind of like
hilarious though if he actually came back in January, if they made the playoffs and he came back and he just was this healthy guy at 40 years old with an Achilles injury. Everyone starts doing that.
Benjamin Button, he looks younger.
Once you hear that, if you're Cam Akers or Dobbins or whoever else, you just start listening to that.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't tell anybody. I'm
going to start listening to it before I go to bed every night. Maybe my torn ACL will just heal itself. Who knows? We'll find out. CEH, not expected to play. Really doesn't matter. You weren't starting him for his sake, but it does clear the path a bit more for Pacheco, who played behind CEH last week. CEH did see about 30% of the snaps and 30% of the touches, just annoyingly. Nice to have that little thorn removed here. He's such a little bitch. He's sick. A little tummy ache. He's so stupid. I can't get out of it. Get out of the league. He's not one for the NFL at this point. That's clearly been established. Cordarrelle Patterson is expected to rejoin the Falcons backfield just to make it all the more muddier. Earlier reports already today that Algier and Bijan will continue that split, but don't be shocked if and when Patterson comes and mixes in. You saw Bijan get 6 targets last week, and that's what kind of preserved his value. And I'm praying he maintains that role. But Arthur Smith, we know his deal at this point. He loves to just fuck with fantasy owners for whatever reason and not use his first-round picks because it's in the name of winning. Not using your best players is clearly a good way to win. Yeah, Arthur Smith, it makes total sense. I don't get it. Makes no sense to me at all. But don't be shocked if Bijan goes from 6 targets to 3 today because Patterson has to get a handful of smattering. And maybe they don't. I hope they don't for the sake of Bijan, but it would not surprise me at all. And this is my whole take, CJ. I know you were you're fading Bijan and you're going to regret it. And maybe I will still. He still had 20 points last week in a timeshare. But already we know Algier's going to still be involved. And now maybe Patterson gets there too. I don't know. Maybe I'm not so crazy for not taking a lot of Bijan. What do you think?
I mean, he still puts up the points, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll keep him fresh. I'm almost at the point I feel like Arthur Smith is thinking of fantasy while he's calling plays.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's I'm not gonna feed Pitts on purpose. Just especially because he brought it up after too. He's it's a fantasy thing. I don't care. Blah blah blah. I think he honestly he thinks of fantasy football while he's coaching.
We're living rent free in his head. Yeah, it sucks for all of us because he's the one that actually controls things. So he's living rent free in all of our heads. Is really what it actually is. That bastard.
Incredible.
I'll never use what is it, UPS or whatever his dad owns. Never use them again.
Oh
yeah. Some sort of postal service.
Yeah.
Wrapping up the running backs here, Zach Moss will apparently function as the lead back for the Colts. I know that sounds hideous. It is. It's gross. But also the Texans are one of the worst run Ds in the league. They got bludgeoned by the Ravens last week. All last year, they were the most points allowed to running backs. Zach Moss, if you're desperate, maybe, just maybe, a plug into your lineup. He's only 4,700 on DraftKings as well. Now, I'd rather find that 300, get to Josh Kelley if I'm punting the position. And ultimately, I'd rather just get up to 5,800 and get to David Montgomery or Kenneth Walker in that range anyways. But Zach Moss, not a bad punt play if you're desperate for a running back, desperate for a flex. It is such a crazy year already, so you might be asking us about Zach Moss, and he's a fringe top 30 guy for me right now. So let me know if you have any Zach Moss, because Deion Jackson actually was third in expected fantasy points last week. I think he was also running back like 90 in terms of actual points, despite being running back third in expected usage, because he is just complete ass cheeks. So Zach Moss has seen that.
Didn't he have like 14 yards on 13 carries?
14 yards on 13 carries and like I think 8 targets. And he turned into like 3 catches for 11 or something like that. It is abysmal. It's so much volume for such a, and ultimately Zach Moss might just end up being a fool's gold, because Anthony Richardson, who I actually was very impressed with in week 1 of all the rookie quarterbacks, I mean, he looked honestly the best as a passer, and of course that dynamic dual threat ability, the Shane Steichen offense. I think it was 3rd in total plays run, which is in conjunction with what the Eagles did last year. And you see the Eagles struggles a little bit without Shane Steichen. Maybe, just maybe, like he was a huge reason for why that offense hummed. I love Anthony Richardson. I tossed out an offer to his owner in my league because he also had Tua, and he said, no, I don't care. I don't want to move him. And I don't blame him. I thought I could maybe try to buy low. And if any of you out there can try, toss out some feelers, because I think today we see, he was inches away from a second touchdown, a 28-point day in his NFL debut. I would be buying low. I know we're on running back news and somehow got to Anthony Richardson, but I just want to toss that out there. I'd try to buy low on Richardson anywhere I could, if you can. But honestly, I don't know that you'll be able to, given my experience so far trying to. Did you end up with Richardson in any league, CJ?
No, I did not. I never draft 2 quarterbacks, and that's a second quarterback. So no.
Yeah.
And actually, I went because we were talking about this on Sunday. I went Josh Allen in 2 leagues, which I never do. And
yeah.
He'll
rebound. He doesn't rebound today.
Legitimately lost me week 1, but it's all
right. I got home and I was just eating Bagel World right when we got home and was watching the NFL broadcast. They had the most dramatic like Josh Allen montage of turnovers with like the song like "How Can You Be So Reckless?" And it was like it's football. Like it was so ridiculous and dramatic and over the top. Just like, come on, like let's grow up here. We're playing football.
Very, very reckless.
Music.
He is very reckless. He fits that sound.
He fit it pretty well, actually, but it was just so over the top. Last 2 notes: Tyjae Spears upgraded to full. He practiced. I think he's a phenomenal stash. If you have those bench spaces, players that Tyler Boyd's again. Like cut Roshan. I should be getting some questions in the mailbag. Like, who could I cut for Roshan Johnson? One, just do it. Don't wait and miss out on the opportunity. But like Tyler Boyd's or Michael Gallup's, like these types that are just number 2, 3s on their team that just aren't really going to ever be in your lineup. You can find those guys on waivers and bye weeks when you finally need them. You want these upside type stashes. Roshan being number 1, but Tyjae Spears also being an intriguing addition. And Kendra Miller, they play on Monday night, and especially if your league allows like bench movement after people play, I would definitely look to pick him up tomorrow or even tonight after you see how the games go. And if you can cut somebody, do that. There's a receiver I'm going to talk about in a second, and I also think is well worth a stash and see what happens. And some of you guys might be able to guess it based on some preseason stuff we talked about. Moving to wide receivers, though, few notes. DeAndre Hopkins doesn't practice all week, but is expected to be active. I always hate these situations because, 1, what if he just re-aggravates at first play, limps off, you don't see him the rest of the day? 2, what if he's just a decoy in the first place? He's my wide receiver 38 right now. I don't want to play him if I don't have to. I'd rather play a Romeo Doubs, who ultimately is practicing in full, only played 48% of the snaps last week and still scored 16 fantasy points. Moving to the next note, Christian Watson's also ruled out at this point, so I love Romeo Doubs. He's flying up the rankings. I'd honestly even maybe consider Jaden Reed ahead of DeAndre Hopkins. Probably wouldn't go to that depth, but I just don't want to play Hopkins if I have him. I'd rather wait this out, see how he looks. It is tricky because he did have 13 targets last week. I'm one of the most highly targeted at 38% of the looks there. So he is a hog when he's out there, but I just don't know that it's going to actually be Hopkins. And his presence just also then makes it harder to maybe you could have streamed Treylon Burks or Chigo Konku, and now that gets muddy as well. I don't want to touch this passing game. I do think Derrick Henry has a monster day. The Chargers' run D has been bad for back-to-back seasons. I could see him just running wild today in a game that kind of turns into a weird type of shootout where just Henry goes for 202 and then the Chargers on the other side are putting their points up through the air. I'd like to see that. It could also just be a hideous day and the clock just bleeds and it's not fun at all. But I do think the Chargers will at least put up their points, and you got to think Henry might do some damage before that game gets scripted out of his hands. A big injury, not big injury, but popped up today was Amari Cooper, questionable now for week 2, and he plays on Monday night. I don't know that I'd wait this one out for him, given that he didn't look great last week anyways. And what if he sits? Do you have a backup plan? If you have Elijah Moore on your bench with Cooper, then okay, fine. Wait it out. Maybe you can do it. But apparently he, quote-unquote, aggravated his groin in Saturday's practice. There's no further update. They just said how they're going to see how he does over the next 48 hours. So I don't know. I wouldn't expect him to be out there to be if I'm making my plans here. And if you have anything even close to comparable, I would play that over Amari Cooper and not wait it out. Jerry Jeudy is going to play this week. I can wait and see. I'd rather wait and see. One, I still don't trust Russ, and he didn't look much better last week than he looked last year. Maybe getting Jeudy out there will help. But I still like the player a lot. So maybe if you let me know what your questions are on Jerry Jeudy. I've got a couple like Rashad White or Jerry Jeudy, and I think in that case I'd go Rashad White and go with the volume for now, and let's wait and see how Jeudy looks. Let's see him make it through a game. You know, how often does he just aggravate his stuff there? So I'm not going to play Jeudy unless I'm desperate. And again, that's a good desperation. If Judy's your desperation play, you're actually not in a horrible spot. But let us know if you have Jeudy questions, as well as Christian Kirk questions. Everybody's so down on Christian Kirk, as deservedly so. Played the fewest snaps. Zay Jones seems to be the more every down guy, whereas Kirk is now limited to just 3 receiver sets. But in a game where they're facing the Chiefs, you know they're going to be chasing points, and the Chiefs run a ton of man coverage, rather. That's where Christian Kirk did a ton of his damage last year. So I could see this being one of those things where everybody talks followers of the week, Christian Kirk, and deservedly so. Again, he was on my follower list when I did my show on Sunday night. But still, all the negative attention, and now he's benched everywhere, and you see Kirk go for 2 touchdowns. I could totally see something of that nature. It just seems to be what the fantasy gods like to do to us. As soon as we think we know someone's down, they end up rising them back up for a 30-point day. So Kirk could be in your lineup. Let us know if you have questions on him. This is definitely the setup for him, 5,100 on DraftKings as well. A lot of people probably going to Zay Jones at a cheaper tag. And again, I like Zay Jones. I'm starting Zay Jones at work for Austin Ekeler in my flex now in the league. But I also think you can go to Christian Kirk as well. Adams off the injury report. That's Devontae Adams, of course, with no Jacoby Myers, who led this team in target share last week. I think he's going to get all the work he can handle. You know to play Devontae Adams, but just again at 7,600 on DraftKings, a solid play there. Brandon Cook's not expected to play for the Cowboys, so just more volume there for CeeDee Lamb. But I think this game ends up being kind of a shitty one. Cowboys defense smothers the Jets. Jets defense limits the Cowboys offense, other than maybe, of course, Tony Pollard in your lineups. But I'm worried for Garrett Wilson, a little bit worried for CeeDee Lamb if he gets trailed there. But they move around, and it seems like they more play sides there, the Jets do. So I think CeeDee will be fine. He'll get his, and certainly will get even more work with Cooks out. Maybe Gallup slides into the 2 role. I don't want to trust another receiver other than CeeDee Lamb, though. And then the waiver wire darling of the week, Puka Nacua, questionable for week 2, but expected to play now. I'm starting Puka where I have him, CJ. Are you going to go? Did you have him? Did you end up blowing the fab?
I went for 25%. Which may have been too much, but it's all right.
You think that's a bit too much, CJ? I bet 46%. I was desperate.
I got a few texts the next morning, like, what are you doing type of texts. But I don't know. I'm kind of scared of this injury a little bit. I'm almost thinking of, I know you said you dropped him, but I kind of like Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
That's who my flex situation is right now.
If you guaranteed me Cooper was out, I would say, yeah, probably go Elijah Moore. It's so up in the air still. So unless you get that ruling, like, Amari Cooper didn't travel with the team for Monday Night Football. Otherwise, I'd go Puka. How do you bid your money on him and then you don't put him in? What are we even doing it for? So he's going right into my lineup. $46
just to have him on the squad. Just have him on the squad.
No, you got to show. Yeah, you got to show the squad. If you're a high acquisition agent, you're going in there and you're going to perform for me. So I get it. I guess I get it as a little bit nerve wracking, but I also don't think he's just going to disappear if and when Cup comes back. I saw a good clip today. Matt Harmon comparing him like as a clone to Robert Woods, how he does a lot of what Robert Woods did. That video. Yeah, you saw that one, and it makes sense. He can get vertical. He can play the outside well. He can move into the slot, though. I really like Puka Nacua. So let us know if you have questions. San Fran, obviously a good defense, but much more beatable through the air than they are on the ground. And I can see Stafford just looked so good. Even Tutu Atwell could be in play today for desperation streams. Deontay Johnson not going to be playing today, and DJ Chark is questionable. You hopefully don't need DJ Chark, but he's sitting out there in waivers and you have deep benches, someone to maybe stash given that nobody else showed a connection with Bryce Young. Moving to tight end to wrap it up, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, your big boys in the position, are both expected back. I cannot wait for Andrews to get on the field for my own fantasy prospects. I love Travis Kelce, of course, today. 7,600 on DraftKings makes very much sense in those Chiefs-Jags when you're targeting that game. 1 p.m. Cannot wait to watch that one. Darren Waller, not given an injury designation. He's good to go. That hamstring, there's early reports it's going to nag him all year, but he said it's good and he feels as good as he has. So I'm ready to get Waller, my number 3 tight end, into my lineups. Again, Arizona was so bad against tight ends last year. I'd love to get him there. Pat Frymouth upgraded to full. He'll be in there. You can definitely fire him up on Monday Night Football. And then Greg Dulcich goes to the injured reserve to bring us to our defensive notes. Both that he's expected to play there for the Chargers against the Titans will definitely wreak havoc on Ryan Tannehill. Make a little bit tougher sledding for Derrick Henry. I was hoping he'd be ruled out, but ultimately he'll be in there. Chris Jones expected to play in week 2 against the Jags. 20 to 30 snaps, getting his feet wet. It's good to see just for the Chiefs' sake that he's going to be back. And then Carlton Davis not playing in week 2 against the Bears. That actually is big news and definitely help DJ Moore back to getting his season on track after a dud week 1. I'm ready to go back to DJ Moore. Well, I think he can definitely thrive in this game. Last year against Tampa Bay with no Carlton Davis, he had a 37-point day. So I could see DJ Moore getting right back on track here. And then as we mentioned there, Amani Hooker and cornerback Crispin Fulton out for the already horrendous Titans secondary. So it is going to be a shit show. I think Justin Herbert is going to dump all over their chest. My only worry is that they get up so big and that the Titans cannot keep pace. They take the air on the ball, but I could also just see Kellen Moore whipping it around all day. So I'm excited to see what happens there. That's kind of my DraftKings play of the day, at least, is Justin Herbert double stacks Keenan, Mike Williams, and or Donald Parham at 2,900. I'm hoping for some big days from them so your boy can get rich and retire. All righty. That wraps up all our news and notes. 30 minutes in, that's typical here. The next hour and 15, hour and a half will be dedicated to you guys. It doesn't look like there is any super chat as of right now, so we will first bring in our first call-in of the day. Mr. Campanelli, how are we doing, brother?
The streak lives.
The streak lives, indeed.
So, one question. Everything else has been dropped in the comments. At wide receiver 3, would you go Dobbs, Mike Williams, Dotson, or Atwell, knowing you could start one of them as well at a flex?
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, yeah. I'm 100% with you, CJ. And this is the definition of a Mike Williams day. Big receiver, and it's a horrible secondary that's already even more banged up. I'm in love with Mike Williams today. I think he has a monster day.
And then Dobbs at flex out of those options.
Is Dobbs or Atwell? Yeah, Dobbs.
Dobbs, Atwell, or Dotson?
Oh, I do like Dotson too. I would go Dotson over Dobbs. CJ's giving me the grin, but I think this is a big bounce back spot for Dotson. And if he doesn't do it this week, maybe I'll let the dream die. But I really think this is a big week for him. He gets the same matchup we saw Jacoby Myers absolutely feast upon, assuming that McLaurin is trailed by Surtain, which is what has been historically what happens there. If Surtain goes on Dotson, that's going to suck. But I imagine they'll be trailing McLaurin with him all day, giving Dotson a monster matchup to potentially feast upon. So I like Dotson a bit more than Dobbs. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, even though I want to make fun of you, I'm with you there.
Yeah, I love Dobbs too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm starting Dobbs in place of Watson today. So if you want to ride with me and have the same guy, Campanelli, it's close enough. You could justify it. You can trust your gut. But if I had Dotson, I would definitely be playing him over Dobbs in my own lineup too. So
okay,
I would go Dotson.
They're very close.
Yeah, it is close. I think I have like Dotson 29 and Dobbs like 31. I mean, it's not far at all. I forget exactly. I should pull the rankings up. But either way, I know in my gut I feel Dotson. So that's where I would go. Did you have which way were you leaning, Campanelli?
I was leaning Dobbs with Watson out today just because I don't know how much I can trust Sam Howell and that Commanders offense. Like, who the heck knows what they're going to pull off? And he was an embarrassment against Arizona. So
I Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do think Arizona, we might have been a little fast to rush. A defensive-minded coach did come in there, and I don't think they had a ton of talent, but they did play hard. They played scrappy. I think Denver kind of sucks. Outside of Surtain, I think that pass defense might be abysmal. So I don't know. I'm feeling Dotson today. I would give it one more week. I do think Dobbs is a great play with no Watson, and Atlanta's not a bad matchup by any means. I mean, especially if he's going to be 100%, he's off the injury report. So I get it. So if you're leaning Dobbs, it's justifiable, but I wouldn't be surprised to watch Dotson go for 2 touchdowns. Dobbs just did that, though, too. So, I mean, it's close. I'm going with Dotson. It sounds like CJay was aligned with me. Let us know what you decide, Campanelli. Good luck.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. All righty, Sebastian Alex getting the first comment in well ahead of kickoff today. Let's get it going, my man. What do we got, CJay?
Sebastian Alex, what's up, fellas? What are your top 5 kickers and defenses?
Oh, come on. I mean, both the rankings.
Do like your best streamer for both or something?
Yeah, so exactly. Like top defense is for sure the Cowboys. I think they're going to murder Zach Wilson today. I don't have my top 5 memorized, and that's where you just go to the website and look there. But in terms of streamers, I do love the Giants. I really, really like the Cleveland Browns this week facing the Steelers team. I think that defense is just really good, and Jim Schwartz is bringing the best out of them. So I like Cleveland Browns a lot as a streamer. I do also like the Giants. Our guy Teagues wrote a lot about the Green Bay defense, which I do like too. But what they do work, they're great pass defense. That doesn't really matter against Atlanta. And they're not a good run defense, Green Bay. And that's why I get a little bit worried about that play. I do also, last streamer I toss out there is the Bucks. They did lose Carlton Davis, so that makes it a little bit riskier to me. But the Browns are out there in most leagues. I would go with them. And I also don't mind the Jets. That's another one defense I've seen dropped a lot, given that they have a matchup against the Cowboys. I think they're just such a good defense. I mean, they put up 20 fantasy points against the Bills. So I really have no issue with going against putting the Jets into my lineup. Kickers, I mean, it's your usuals. It's Justin Tucker. It's, tossing out sleeper kickers. I love Moody for the 49ers. 14 fantasy points last week, boomed a couple 40, 50-yarders as well. I love him, and I like McManus, but I do think McManus for the Jags. A lot of times teams get too cute against the Chiefs, and they just end up going for points when they could have taken field goals. So I really like Moody. He's one of my top kickers of the week. Do you have any kickers you wanted to shout out there, CJay?
Honestly, I have Carlson everywhere. That's why I usually pick like one kicker and just ride with him on all my teams. So I have Carlson everywhere, but I can't really think of any streaming kickers right now. Koo's always the man. I always just go for indoors or good weather with kickers.
Yeah. In which case, Riley Patterson, Jason Myers, that they could be good as well for that home opener with the Lions. Thank you, Sebastian. Good to see you. Sorry, I didn't mean to crap on your question, but kickers and defenses, I mean, at the end of the day, we know special teams are kind of a crapshoot for fantasy.
And usually the top 5 are taking them both.
Yeah.
Brunel Jacobs, what's up, guys? Should I start Laporta or Freiermuth in full PPR?
I'm very intrigued by Laporta.
Add JSN and do a flex question. What?
I'd go Laporta over Muth. And then I'm going to just go both tight ends. I don't want to trust JSN yet. Gino, that was a sketchy day. And maybe JSN breaks out and gets this offense out of the funk. But what did he have, like 2 points last week?
I feel like we should have talked about the chance of Gino just be like reverting back to like not being good. Like, why did we like all think that he was like a lock to like continue to be good? Like, you don't just get good when you're like 30 years old.
Yeah, he's definitely looking a bit like a one-year wonder. It was only one game, but he also doesn't have his tackles this week, so he was under pressure all day. Yeah. I love that Aaron Donald clip was, oh my God, he throws the ball. Have you seen that one when Gino just like the guys in his face? It's so funny. Oh, the exact reaction that any of us would have. As they would have just heard like us dumping our pants live as well, mic'd up, just some gross downs there as well. I think I might go both tight ends though until I see Gino get it together. Both those guys heavily involved in their offenses and both good bets for touchdowns. As talented as JSN, I don't think I can trust him here. Would you go double tight end here? What would you? I hate doing that.
I like Freiermuth better than Laporta, just because of Deontay Johnson being out. There's way more targets available, and he like loves him in the red zone too.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point with Deontay out. I haven't even factored that in. I think I have Freiermuth too low in my rankings. Come to look at, yeah.
So yeah, I think I would go Freiermuth, and then Oh, I hate going double tight ends. But I feel
Seattle's
like
really bad against tight ends, though. Remember, like they're the second worst team against tight
yeah,
ends.
yeah, I'd go double tight.
I think we double tight ended up here. You could still, I still would ask, is Tutu Atwell, Zay Jones, Roshan Johnson, are any of those guys out there in your waiver wire? Because I prefer that over double tight end there. But yeah, I like what you said about Freiermuth there, CJ. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have my rankings up on the side here and kind of update them. I love doing that while we do this show because you have your rankings, but then people ask you questions and you realize, you know what, I didn't actually have Goff ahead of Daniel Jones or whatever it might be. So, all right, what else we got?
Campanelli, one running back, full PPR. Akers, Roshan, or Karen.
I'm guessing Karen is Kyron. I would
Yeah,
go.
oh yeah, it is Karen.
Okay, yeah. I would go. I don't want to face the 49ers. And now that Foreman's a healthy scratch, I think I might go Roshan here against Tampa Bay. And it's not a great matchup either, but I don't know. It's gross. It's not great. I would go Dotson at the flex, not one of the unused running backs. Of these three running backs, do you have a leaning CJ? I don't really like any of the three, to be honest.
He was texting about this earlier, and I kind of said the exact same thing. So, I think I go Kyron. I don't trust Roshan yet, and Akers is just rubbish to me. But I think I'm gonna go Kyron here.
Yeah, you know what, too? I like that call because Kyron is the lead pass catching back, and if this game flow is what I expect it to be, which the 49ers get up early, the Rams chase points, that's going to be more of a Kyron script. Plus, he has goal line equity as well, even though it is a great run D. But definitely not Akers. 20 carries for whatever yards per clip last week against a bad run defense. Now he's going to be getting the best run defense in the league. So I don't want Akers. I think Kyron's game's a little bit more malleable and not as susceptible to getting completely shut down by a good run defense. So I like Kyron there. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Kyron's a good call after weighing him out. He's not horrible. He's like my running back 30. I have him on my bench for Zay Jones. Would you bench Kyron for Zay Jones today?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
it's funny, these Rams that I'm spending all my fab on, I just have them all on the bench.
Yeah. I have Puka in, baby. I'm riding him. I blew $76 total on Rams, though. We do have a super chat, so Fatty Mateo, we will be right back with you. But a $5 super chat coming in from Texas Hustler. Love the Texas Hustler. What's going on, my man?
Texas Hustler. Love the Wolfpack, boss. Thanks for your time and knowledge. Wolfpack for life. Too sweet. Dallas, Texas in the house. Keep up the good work.
Just giving us a nice shout out there. Texas, if you do have a question, our man Campanelli is modding this. He'll keep his eyes peeled. But thank you so much for your kind words. Your great shout out. We love having you along as a fan. Always hyping us up, Hustler. Always the man. So thank you so much. Great to see you live here in the chat, bringing the energy like you always do. Please do let us know if you have any sit starts or questions we can answer for you. Our man Campanelli will keep his eyes peeled for those. We'll bounce right down to that if we see it.
Fatty needs some upside with Madison being used.
Must win. It's week 2. I get it. No, I totally, just like the real NFL, I get that your chances of making the playoffs are significantly down if you start 0-2. But I say this every time. One of my last title runs, I was 0-6. I hate to even admit that, like, why am I listening to this guy? But I picked up Odell, pieces that I had drafted that got hurt early. It was a good team on paper that just got really bad injury luck early on. It all peaked at the right time. Couple timely pickups, couple guys return at the right time, and you snuck into the 6th seed. Those teams often get hot and just go. Bailey last year barely made the playoffs in my league. His team just cooked in the playoffs. I feel like it's always a 6th seed that wins. It's never the guys that get the bye, the soft, cushy bye week guys. So you're not in a must-win. I get it. I'm with you, Patty. I'm not trying to downplay anybody's situation here. I'm 0-1. I don't want to be 0-2. I feel like it's a must-win, but don't be ringing any, I'm dead here bells. Let's go. And Madison did shit the bed, so here we go. We need some upside.
So sit one of these. Either Dylan, Brees, or Hopkins.
I got to sit Hopkins. I mean, it's just, even if he plays, the upside's not that great. And he is playing, but the downside is so big. So yeah. And it sounds like Hustler might have got his questions in. So let's he sent this earlier. So Dallas Wyatt is watching the Wolfpack. Gus Edwards, Zach Moss, or Nacua. was the question for Texas Hustler. Campanelli did some good detective work and discovered that in there. So I would say Puka Nacua over Zach Moss. And who was the other one?
Want to click it? I don't see it.
I don't see it either. He sent it in the private chat. Zach Moss or Nacua. Thanks and keep killing it. Hit the like button was what the Hustler sent there. So I don't know exactly where it is, but I would definitely go Nacua over those two running backs. I mean, 15 targets, 40% target share. And definitely does a lot of things that could beat that zone defense of the 49ers. So I would go Nacua over those two backs. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm with you. Those two absolute plotters. No part of.
Yeah. Those are desperation plays at best. And when you have Nacua, you don't have to be desperate. That just sounds like you have Puka. You don't have to be desperate. This third-round rookie receiver. Oh, God. I love him, though. I think Puka's the man. I'm very excited to start.
So Juan Pena, who for my flex? Connor, Dalvin Cook, Gibson, Lockett, AJ Dillon. Is Gibson on the hate cut list if he sucks again this week?
If he sucks this week, yes, he's getting hate cut. I would say, this is a tough one. I wouldn't be Dalvin Cook, too much of a timeshare with Brees, too bad of a matchup. Connor versus AJ Dillon's a tricky one. Lockett is similar to like the JSN question, even though he's a little bit safer. I need to see Geno do it before I really want to trust a Tyler Lockett right now. I would probably go. What do you think, Connor versus Dillon?
I was going to say Connor. That was my first instinct.
Yeah, he played 83% of snaps. The touchdown equity's low, but the Giants' defense isn't overly good. So, I don't know. I think I kind of like Dillon to score the touchdown, though. It comes down to Connor or Dillon, and I don't love either. It's like running back 19, running back 20 in my ranks. So, they're close, and they are top 24 guys. I think I go Dillon myself. Do you still go Connor, though?
Yeah, I'm going Connor. It is a coin flip, but I think I'm going to go Connor.
All righty. Looks like we did get a super chat as well coming in. Thank you so much. Titan, $5 super chat. Let's pull that up. Let me find it here. You got it? All right.
Yep. So start Mike Evans in Chicago or flex with Sutton, Hunter Henry, Brian Robinson.
Oh, yeah. You got it. Yeah. It's Brady there, but ultimately, I don't care. I love Mike Evans. He's got that connection with Baker. 18 fantasy points last week. So I really like Mike Evans in Chicago. You have 2 touchdowns to Dobbs in the red zone. That's where Mike Evans does his damage. So I really like Mike Evans to score at least 1, maybe even 2 today. I'm big on Evans. I haven't seen the forecast. Is it like sideways rain? I can't imagine it's that bad this early in September. It's really the wind that kills that passing game. So unless it's like an absolute monsoon that no one's going to be getting shitting, I'm not worried about a little drizzle. In fact, oftentimes that helps the receivers who know where they're going and the CBS to adjust and slips. I think Evans is more than fine. But have you seen anything, CJ, about that weather being like horrendous?
No, I haven't seen anything on Twitter. Anyone talking about it? Is it if it's like that hurricane that we got yesterday?
Yeah.
It's expecting the house to blow over. I didn't even think it rained yesterday.
No, yeah, it's Hurricane Lee bust. Brian Robinson would be my next man up there, but I'm going Mike Evans, no doubt, over these other guys. What do you think? Yeah. Thank you so much, Titan76, for the support. It's so greatly appreciated. And that's a way for all of you to cut the line and support your guys. Super chat's great. If you don't have the means, the thumbs up button is a nice
we only have 12 likes.
12 likes? That's only on Facebook. I wonder what we have on YouTube. But yeah, come on. Bump those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. We got almost 50 of you here. Keep getting those likes up, please, for us, Wolfpack. It is so greatly appreciated.
Juan Pena again, Hayden Hurst, or Tyler Higbee?
Go Higbee there. Hurst actually tight end 2 in fantasy right now, which is nuts. Frank Reich offense, it is a staple. So I like Hurst. But I just really like Higbee, too. I know he didn't have the biggest day, but I think he's better days are ahead for Higbee. And this could be a matchup they really need to lean on. So I'm going to go Higbee just slightly over Hurst. What about you?
Yep, I'm with you there. Higbee's just, Hurst is just so boring, even though he was really good last week. Can't really start him on my team. Campanelli start a second defense in a 2-defense league. What is a 2-defense league? I have the Lions going, can choose between Colts, Texans, Bears, Falcons, Chargers, Carolina, Titans.
I don't really like any of these defenses, I'm not going to lie. I don't like the Titans at all. That's my last pick here. I guess if I had to pick one of them, it'd be the Falcons. They're a little bit opportunistic. Jesse Bates looks like a real stud. Green Bay, Jordan Love looks great, but it wouldn't shock me if he threw an interception or two today, and maybe they get it done. And at minimum, they just bleed the clock so well that there's only so much an offense can do against them. Whereas any of these other defenses, I could see like approaching negative territory. And that's the last thing you want out of defenses is that negative points. So Carolina gets the same. Yeah, no, I think the Falcons are out of this. It's a shitty bunch. I think the Falcons are probably the best. What about you?
I'm just thinking of this commissioner, thinking like what a great idea it is to have two defenses to like throw a wrinkle in. It's like the least.
One defense.
I know. I agree. I like kickers, but defenses are like I don't know.
I like kickers more than defenses. I don't really like either. I'd rather have an extra flex spot, but I'd rather have a kicker than a defense. So yeah,
let's
clever management.
Yeah, let's switch.
Who do you like at them, CJay? I like the Falcons.
I was thinking Falcons or Colts. One of those, maybe the Colts with Stroud banged up.
Yeah, that's not a horrible call.
They all kind of suck, but yeah, I'd probably go Falcons with a bunch. Falcons, Colts. Pena again. I got 3 receiver spots. Who do I go with? Tutu, Higgins, Metcalf, Elijah, and Allen Robinson. So Higgins and Metcalf are the locks, and then.
Yeah, Juan, you're a veteran of the show. You know you're playing T. Higgins and Metcalf. Like, shaming you publicly, Juan. You're always here. You know the deal. You don't need to ask about T. Higgins and Metcalf in the same breath as Allen fucking Robinson. Come on, let's be real here. I would probably go Elijah Moore as the next one up.
Yeah,
especially with the injury situation. I am very intrigued by Tutu Atwell. I don't think I'll ever say Allen Robinson in a positive light ever again in my life. I hope not. So. This week he's going to catch like 6 balls, 100 yards, and a touchdown and be revived in the slot, which we've seen happen before. But I will never start Allen Robinson unless I see something like that. So I'm going to go Higgins, Metcalf, Elijah Moore. And I probably would have done it even if Cooper was playing, but the fact that he might be out, even more so for Elijah Moore. It looks like we got another Super Chat. Thank you guys so much being so generous today. Super Chats coming in left and right. It does boost. It really does go a long way, guys. So thank you so much. Mr. Fella, what do we do? What do we got for you?
Daddy Davis or Dubs full PPR?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. Because I do think this feels like a Gabe Davis week. Like, when it's a Gabe Davis week, it's third. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm starting Dobbs, so maybe I also am a little biased, but his floor feels higher to me. We know Love absolutely loved him. And we know Watson's out. So, to me, he's the clear-cut number one option there. He only played 48% of snaps last week and still managed 16 points. I'm going to go Dobbs because I just think it's safer, and he's the guy. It's so scary to bench Davis in a plus matchup today, on paper at least, which does scare me. But I'm going to go Dobbs. I'm going to go Dobbs over Daddy. What about you, CJay?
I'm going Daddy. I know things didn't work out last week, but the weather, I didn't know how bad the weather was going to be. I'm going with Daddy this week.
Did Dotson end up outscoring Daddy last week? I know you were so pissed at me, but I think Dotson ended up actually being better.
I think, didn't Gabe Davis only had 2 catches, 3 catches?
Yeah, he's back to stepdad status.
And then Roshan or Rashad White full PPR?
I would go Rashad White. As much as I'm so intrigued to see what Roshan does, it's kind of do or die time, which is nuts for Rashad White, but he did have, 75% of the snaps, almost 80% of the workload last week. Chicago's not a good defense at all. So if he doesn't do it this week, it's kind of – and that's what also makes me nervous about Swift's great performance was like Rashad White, everyone was like, oh, it's the Vikings defense, let's give him another shot. And then Swift goes and puts 175 up on him. It's like, okay, maybe this Vikings defense is not good at all, and Rashad White just sucks. So I don't love Rashad White, but you're guaranteed the work. And if you're guaranteed work against a bad defense, you got to give that one more shot. But I also think Sean Tucker is an intriguing name to stash right now, too. We talked about Spears. We talked about, Roshan, obviously, today. I think those guys are definitely ahead of Tucker. But if those guys have gone in your league and you're looking for another potential stash, I really think Sean Tucker could be a guy that they've hyped up all preseason. They've talked he's the clear-cut number 2. And if Rashad White sucks again, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they turn the keys over to Tucker sooner than later. But I'm going to go White one more time, at least. Would you go with Rashad White here, CJ?
Yeah, especially in full PPR. Look at dump-offs. And Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both. I'm not really excited about either of them once again, but I'm gonna go with Chadwick here.
All righty. So, fella, thank you so much again for the support. We're split on the receivers. I go Dobbs. I do think the floor is higher. The ceiling is similar, even though we know Davis can truly just win you a week, and it feels like a Davis blow-up type of week. And then White, we're both aligned on. Thank you again so much. We'll pack a lot of great support here so far with those super chats. And we got another Colin, an absolute legend of the Wolf Pack, Mr. Mitch Chavez. This is your first time calling in, brother?
Yes, it is, boys. Yes, sir.
Oh, welcome to the show. So good to see you. Long time, first time, baby.
Sir. How we doing?
Sunday, week 2. Ready to have my heart broken yet again. Another week of fantasy, baby. But no, I'm so excited, Mitch. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Happy birthday to Mahomes.
Oh, it's his birthday?
Yes, sir.
Oh, birthday narrative. Mahomes for 5 touchdowns today.
I hope so.
Oh, man. That's going to be a fun one for you and your Chiefs, Scott. I can't wait for that game. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. That Lions game was enough already.
Yeah. Got the bat out of the system for sure. What can we do for you today for fantasy, my guy?
Shoot. At the moment, looking like either Zay Flowers or Isaiah Pacheco at the flex.
I like Flowers. I know Pacheco looks better now that there's no CEH, probably more secure role, but I can't bench Flowers. I know Andrews is back, and that's going to muddy up this target situation, but 10 targets, 40% share, first game, and he looked electric with the ball in his hands. So I do not think he's just going to disappear. A lot of people, it was 2.6 average depth of target. And like, sure, yeah, that is actually true, but that means they're also just getting the ball in his hands. And just because it's gadget usage, there's a lot of confusion. Like, gadget usage does not necessarily equal a gadget player. He's not a gadget player. He's a complete receiver. He can get it deep down the field, too. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if, maybe the targets go down, but he catches a long bomb today. I love the player. I absolutely love Zay Flowers. I want him in my lineup wherever I can have him. And I like Pacheco, but to me, Flowers' ceiling is a good amount higher. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like Pacheco a lot today too. And I know he didn't really put up the numbers in week 1, but he looks really good with the ball.
Did we get
he had
hurt?
his highest target share I think he's ever had too, which was like a nice little boost.
Yeah, I think he had 4 receptions last week. I think he had all of that last year.
Right.
But yeah, you can't bench Flowers right now. The ceiling's too high. It's a player I don't want to put him on.
Did we get word on CEH though? I know he kind of had some issues practicing this week.
I think he's expected to sit is the expectation. So that's why it is better for Pacheco.
Right.
I still even if he's out, I still like Zay Flowers. I can't bench that kid. I think he's too good.
Especially in PPR formats. So
yeah, right, exactly. And that's even better for the gadget usage. Just even if he does nothing with a quick little hit, it's a point. Boom.
right.
So yeah, I do like Pacheco today, but I cannot bench Zay Flowers.
All right. Thanks, boys.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Mitch. Great to see you as always.
Good luck
Happy
to you.
Sunday, brother.
Bye.
Here. Oh man, I love Mitch. He's the freaking best. We have the best fans ever. They all show up. They all come in. We have the best guys. So Zay Flowers also only 5K. As we're pulling up the next question here, getting the Bulldog over here. Zay Flowers is only 5K on DraftKings, and there's this weird pocket of receivers there that's like from 4,800 to 5K, where you got Zay Flowers at 5K, Jahan Dotson 4,900, Puka Nacua 4,900, and then 4,800 Romeo Dobbs. Like, I love all 4 of those guys, and it's just tricky to me. Like, which one do I? Oftentimes, I find myself having 2 of those 4 in my lineup. Where do you lean with like Dotson, Zay Flowers, Romeo Dobbs, and Puka Nacua? You had to pick 2 of those 4.
That's tough. I'd probably go Flowers, Dotson, Puka, Dobbs. I forget who else you said.
It's just those 4. That's how I have them ranked too. But it's tough. I love them all. I think they're all great matchups. Alrighty, Bulldog. What do we got for our guy here? Another regular.
Another beautiful Sunday, Wolfpack. Brees Hall or Eli Moore in the flex, full PPR.
It's got trickier with this Cooper situation. I'm all in on Brees Hall though. He just looked so good. That Cowboys defense is the real deal. So I get that that's scary. Man, this is a tough one because if we had Cooper ruled out, I probably would say Elijah Moore. But what if he plays and then I'm going to go Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall will play here. What do you think, CJ?
I'm going Brees there.
He can get it done as a receiver too, so it's full PPR. Usually would favor the receiver here, but Brees can get those dump offs and just rip any of them to the
They're
house.
going to have to shorten the game to run the ball, keep the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands. I think. Brees.
Yeah. I like Brees today.
Frazier, how we doing, boys? Who do I flex this week? James Cook, Gus Bus, or Roshan Johnson?
Frazier over in Scotland, baby. Great to see you, my man. I'm going to go James Cook here. I think he's a couple tiers above both these other guys. What do you think, CJ?
Amari Cooper, unlikely to play, by the way.
Oh, okay. So Brees Hall, Eli Moore.
Schefter just tweeted that.
That's good news. That's good intel to have. That definitely changes the ranking, so I'm going to make sure to adjust it. I'm still going Brees Hall, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Brees.
Oh,
But I think I like Elijah now over Puka. I think that cemented my start for Elijah.
Yeah, I think, I think Puka gets another 12 targets today. Don't be stunned, but I am going to bump. So I'm going to put Cooper pretty much like out of my starting range right now. And then Elijah Moore getting the bump up here. Romeo Dobbs needs a bump up too. So I picked Dobbs over Davis. So I'm going to reflect that. I'm going to bump Elijah Moore. He's my wide receiver 30 now, just behind Dobbs. I still like Dobbs more, just because I still don't know what to make of Watson. He didn't look great. But I do have Elijah Moore just ahead of Daddy Davis. No. What do you think? Moore or Daddy Davis? What would you do there?
I like Elijah as like the safer pick, but if I wanted more fun, I'd go Daddy.
Yeah. I'm going to put him right behind Daddy Davis. But yeah, Elijah Moore up to my wide receiver 31. So still playable, but I would also Bulldog. I'd still stick with Brees Hall here. But let us know if you guys have Elijah Moore questions. Definitely getting a little bit trickier here, that situation with Cooper unlikely to play now. So there we go. All right, we got another call in. My man, Mr. Gonzo.
My dude. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Quick
How did the event go this weekend?
Amazing. 1,000 people. Boston was a good time. I'm not going to go too far.
I love it, man. Glad to hear it. I'm so sad I had to miss it. Timing obviously didn't work out this weekend, but I can't wait to meet up again sometime, man.
No worries, man. I'm going to get a sponsor for the Roto Street Journal.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
What do we got there? Chicken
cock?
Chicken cock, yeah.
No, quick question, man.
For RSJ, baby. Chicken cock.
Nico Collins, Roshan Johnson, or CPAT?
I'm going Nico. Yeah.
I like Nico. Yeah, you said so too, CJ?
Yeah, I'm going Nico there.
I guess the one worry is, of course, Stroud and that throwing shoulders a little hurt. And what does that mean? But 11 targets last week. Colts secondary is an absolute joke. Roshan is my next one there. I'm not going to trust CPAT yet. It's not a bad stash. Let's see what happens. But, Roshan, Nico's close. I think I'm going to go Nico, though. I like the 11 targets. He's a hog there. Could easily see him getting into the end zone against that bad secondary.
Yeah, I was a little worried about Tunsil being out, but whatever. It's week 2. Thanks, guys. Get back to it.
Hey, do you have are your Giants going to bounce back? I have them in my survivor this week.
Man.
I need to get rid of him early on, but
yeah. I don't think Thomas plays, man, with a short week going into San Fran on Thursday. I won't hang my hat on him.
No.
I don't know if they're a good survivor pick. I'm with you there too. All right, Gonzo.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for the calling. Cheers.
No, I'm trying to get rid of him early. But
yeah, I get that too. I feel like just picking against the Cardinals every week is a great strategy. But
although they had the Commanders on the ropes for most of that game last week.
Yeah, that was a good sweat there too. I was thinking of that entire game, like, oh boy, here we go. But I think the Giants are a good one because otherwise, when you get in that division,
this is a really tough survivor week too. There's not a lot of. I usually like the home favorites, and there aren't a lot of home favorites this week.
Yeah, no, this is a tough one because like the Cowboys are the highest spread, and I don't trust Dak.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of them this early too.
No, this is not a lock. We already answered that one for Frazier. We said James Cook over those other two.
And then Juan Pena, who for my second flex, Kendrick Bourne, Elijah Moore, Hurst, Henry, Pitts. I'm going more there.
Yeah, this is Eli Moore, absolutely, with this recent news, probably anyways, but especially with the news that Cooper's likely to be out here.
Sarah Riley, Fields or
Oh,
Tua?
sorry, I don't mean to be clicking. I'll let you take it.
Fields or Tua for Sarah Riley?
I gotta go Tua. I mean, Fields could end up rebounding, but that was like last year's usage. I'm worried about it, not him necessarily, but the coaching staff. I think they're morons, and they're nervous to let Fields do what he does best. And until I see that, I'm gonna. And plus, Tua, the number one quarterback in fantasy right now. I don't think the Pats' defenses. They're good. They are absolutely good, but they're nothing that Tua can't. That offense is just scary. Did you see that?
Tua's never lost. Belichick's never beat Tua before.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
He's
Oh,
like
man.
6-0, I think he is.
Oh, geez. That's probably like one of the only quarterbacks to have that like claim on Belichick, too. I love Tua, though. And that clip, it was interesting. They're using Tyreek in this like cheat code way where it's almost like the Arena Football League where he's legally able to get a running start, like because they're motioning him out of the backfield. And and now it's just a joke. Like now the Patriots will see that on tape and they'll hopefully have something designed for it. But he was getting a running start on like 50% of his routes last week, and it's just dangerous. Like Mike McDaniel is a sneaky offensive genius. So yeah, all that to say, Sarah, is I love Tua. I'm gonna keep riding him as long as he's out there.
I was listening to the Risolo podcast, and he was saying if Tyreek Hill played in the Canadian Football League, it would be like break the league because they do those running starts.
Yeah,
he would get like 700 yards again. Sarah Riley, half PPR, need 2 of these. Cook, Ayuk, Rashad White, Brian Robinson, Sutton, Javonte Williams. Ayuk is locked.
definitely Ayuk. There's no doubt about that. And then out of all the rest of the guys, I think I like James Cook the most. You know, the numbers weren't great last week, but he played about 80% of the snaps. You know, Damian Harris did get 100% of the goal line work. I get that. But I like James Cook here. I think he could rebound. He's got a good role in that offense. I think that whole offense just bounces back big too.
Ayuk a good underdog play. He's around 50 yards, which is crazy. Richard B, start one of these. Tony, Rashid, Shaheed, Sky Moore, who should be cut.
Oh, man. I think
that's a disaster.
I don't want to trust the Chiefs receiver. I do think Tony might actually have a big bounce back today. He wasn't a guy that historically struggled with drops. Obviously, last week was horrible, but in college, he had 5 drops his entire career. So I don't expect that to continue to be a problem. And they, in terms of the shovel passes and all that stuff, like that's the Tony gadgety stuff that nobody schemes better than Andy Reid. So I could see a big Tony bounce back. But until Kamara's back, Shaheed was in the backfield and motioning and all over the place. I like Shaheed. He's a player.
Did you see that mic'd up? Did you see that mic'd up Derek Carr thing?
No, I haven't. No.
So, you know how they ice the game with Shaheed going deep? He was called it up. He's like, we're getting you Shaheed deep, just run straight, blah blah blah. So Carr really likes him.
I love Carr there. Yeah, he stabilizes that team and 300 yards in his debut against a bad Titans defense. Yes, but I like Shaheed. I think I'm facing him as well. And so far, receivers against me this week were Jefferson and Smith, and I know they're obviously much better players than Shaheed, but they both dumped 20+ points on me on Thursday Night Football, back and forth. So facing Liam CJ, brutal start today. His team's not even good, and then now I'm just gonna fucking be 0-2. His team's those two are studs. So I got the best players on his team out of the way. They did their thing.
That's tough. Jay Norton, Josh Kelley, or Miles Sanders, happy to.
Like I said, I don't love Josh Kelley like a lot of people do. I also just don't love Miles Sanders either. So I guess I just go with the offense here and go with the Chargers. What about you?
I feel like I'd go Sand. I don't know. I'm with you on just like I don't care about either of these guys, but I would probably go with Sanders here. Maybe.
You got a good amount of work, 4 catches, 18 carries, like a good debut in terms of volume for Sanders. I just think that team kind of sucks. Like, I'd rather just go for the Chargers and hope for the touchdown. I'm updating the rankings now to reflect that too because I have Sanders higher. I'm going to bump Josh Kelley to running back 23. I don't like Sanders. I even rather have like Algier going. So yeah, I'm bumping them down.
Andres, half PPR, pick 2 of these: Pittman, Jamal Williams, Mostert, Dotson, Roshan. Is Mostert good to go?
Is Mostert good to go?
Yeah, I feel like he didn't practice much at all.
Yeah, they called it veteran rest. It was just kind of, easing the workload. I love Jamal Williams. Carolina, got bludgeoned by the Falcons, which they're a great run team, a great run environment. But I still think Williams, if he sees the volume he saw last week, it was workhorse. It just, facing a Titans defense, it was tough. So I like Jamal Williams, and I think I like Pittman here. Just the fact that he was such a target hog for Anthony Richardson and now gets a nice matchup against Houston. I think I'm going Williams and Pittman. The other guys are all intriguing here. I think Roschon's the only one I'm not legitimately considering, but I would go Pittman-Williams myself. What about you?
Yeah, Pittman's locked in for me, and then it's between Jamal Williams and Dotson. Jamal Williams is just like so bad that I hate having him in the lineup. but everything is there for him. Yeah, let's go with the touchdown with Jamal Williams. Dotson would be my 2B of this group.
Oh, is Patterson out this week? I thought he was supposed to be playing today, but I went to push a rankings update through, and it's saying he's out.
Did not know that.
And it also says Mike Boone is out, which is actually kind of intriguing, which obviously Mike Boone, no one's ever playing him, but for the sake of Damian Pierce,
Cordell Patterson
is like 30% of the third downs, or actually 50% of the third downs rather, and saw some targets. So that's actually decent for Damian Pierce. But is Patterson out?
Patterson is out with a quad injury.
Oh, so he's not playing today.
And CEH is active.
Oh, he is active. Okay. That's annoying. All right, guys. So give me 1 second to update the it says CEH is out.
I just saw Leviton tweeted Clyde Edwards-Helaire illness is active. Let me see if I got something better than him.
Yeah, try to dig into that, but it sounds like Patterson is out, which is a guy I was interested in stashing, obviously now. Use that roster spot on somebody better. Tajay Spears would have been better anyway, something like that. I am pushing this rankings update through. That does change things, Boone being out, but you know what?
Underdog has CEH active too.
All right, yeah, maybe he is active. Fantasy Pros right now says out, and won't let me get my rankings through until I change that. So, all right, well, I'm updating that now. Surprised to see Patterson out. Mike Boone freeing up some third down work for Pierce. That could be sneaky big unless Dare Ogbonala, maybe he's active and taking that third down role. I know this seems ridiculous that we're even talking about like a disgusting Texans running back, but we're talking about it for the sake of Pierce, who a lot of you have questions about. His ceiling would go up significantly if all the third down backs are out there. So just something to monitor. I don't know if they had any of those guys. So let me just push the update through. Thank you for your patience, Wolfpack. All right, we are back.
Would you drop Bateman or Jerome Ford for Tajay?
I would drop Bateman, yeah. 30% route player last week. It's not.
He sucks. I hate that people like him. He sucks.
Yeah, he's never been a thing. People just want to keep him being a thing. He's not a thing.
Ooh, his average route yards, run, blah, blah, blah. Toonberg, Judy, Dubs, Burks, Bourne, pick two of these.
All righty. Tunes. What do we got? I'm going Dobbs and I'm going Judy.
You in on Judy?
Would you do the same?
Yeah. Are you? How do you feel about Judy today? I feel like you could eat, but
I like Judy. I do. I was talking about earlier. If I don't have to play him, I'd rather not because I don't like Russ. I'm worried about re-aggravation, but Traylon Burks, no. I do love Kendrick Bourne, but not over Judy. Judy's a player, and I think he could. If he's fully ready to go, I mean, yeah, I expect good things in this offense.
Mm-hmm. Yo soy Tony Morning start two of these Henry, Gibbs, or Kelly. What are we doing?
You gotta go. Is Henry Derrick Henry? You gotta go Derrick Henry. I mean, I'm going Gibbs over Kelly too. A lot of talk about his role getting bumped up. Most missed tackles forced per touch last week, and now getting more work in a good environment against Seattle, who gave up 3 touchdowns to running backs last week. It's a bad Rams team. Maybe not a bad team. Stafford looked good, but still a good Lions offense. Yeah, I like Gibbs and Henry for sure here. Yeah, I like Keenan Allen's wide receiver too. That's pretty nice. Jeez.
Okay, good stuff. Jenny Jennings, good morning, fellas. Happy PPR. Sit one of these. Lockett, Judy, Zay Jones. Thank you.
Good to see you, Denny Jennings. I would sit Judy here. This is one where I would sit Judy. I love Zay Jones.
Zay Jones today.
I really do too. I need a huge day from him, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'd rather wait and see what Judy does if I can. Tune's a situation I don't think you can, whereas Denny, I do think you can.
Yep. Better stash candidate: Sean Tucker or Tank Dell. Full PPR.
And you would need to drop Tony for either. I'd probably just hold on to Tony over either of these guys. I'd rather see if Tony can rebound. If it was one or the other, though, I like Tank Dell a lot. I think Tank Dell has his coming out party today and kind of carries that over for the rest of the year.
Matthew Noto, Yo Wolf, wondering between Brees or Josh Kelley. Full PPR.
I would go Brees. I'd go Brees, yeah. Good to see you.
Aaron Cooley, good morning, guys. Standard scoring, pick 2, Javonte, Pierce, or Algier.
I would go.
Maybe the
I really
latter.
like Algier. Like 15 carries, 2 touchdowns, a good run. Not a good run D, a good matchup for Algier. They're going to keep using him, especially in standard too. Where touchdowns matter more. I like Algier a lot now.
Bijan should have had like 50 points last week. Yeah, who'd you say? So it's Algier and who, Javonte?
Oh, I have to pick 2. Sorry. Algier is my favorite. Boone is. I don't know if I love Javonte. It's a time split. He seems like he's still getting his legs under him a little bit. I'll probably go Algier and Pierce here.
I just saw this.
This
has to do with Pierce, but the Texans starting offensive line heading into week 2. Tunsil out, left guard IR, center IR, Shaq Mason in at right guard, and then right tackles on IR. It's good start to the season.
Yeah, jeez. Maybe it's Williams 10. Jeez.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Javonte.
That is bad.
I think I'm gonna go Javonte and Andrew.
Yeah, Algier is the clear lock here, which is nuts. But Algier and Javonte seems like the play to me.
Ben Mueller, I'm thinking I'm playing Kelly. No Ekeler kills me.
Yeah, you can definitely play him. Let me know if you have other options, but he's certainly streamable. There's no doubt about that.
Firster, what's up, dudes? Let me know what you think. Half PPR, starting Montgomery over James Cook in a flex. Zay Flowers over Cook. Let me know what you think.
Yep. I think both are great. I think you did the right thing, Austin.
I agree. Noto also have for wide receiver 3 Elijah Moore, JSN.
Eli. Yeah, absolutely Eli, with especially this news that Cooper's probably out. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know any other options, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, it's hard to weigh, but I really do think Kelly's certainly streamable. That backfield is a gold mine for running backs usually. So top run D, though. That's the only thing I will caution is I could see them just airing it out 50 times because that's what the matchup dictates. But it's a good spot. Starting running back in a good offense. Not much to argue there.
Holland, pick a flex, full PPR, Mostert, White, Fryer, moves Sutton.
I would go. I think I like Mostert here. Starting running back in a good offense. So we were just talking about. It's not broke, don't overthink it. Mostert probably will only see 12-ish to 15 touches. Not a huge volume guy, but over these other options, White's the volume play, but I just don't like the player. So I go Mostert.
Honestly, I like it in that order that he wrote it in.
That's exactly how I'd rank it too. Maybe Sutton over Fryer, but I would, that's how I'd rank it too.
Wilder, do you think the Eagles' backfield is as follows? Swift, Scott, Gainwell, Penny? Honestly,
I would say Swift, Gainwell, then Scott, then Penny, yes. But I think Swift is hopefully, after this performance that we talked about at the beginning of the show, so if you want a more detailed breakdown, rewind, watch the beginning of the show, Matthew. But I think Swift took this backfield over. I think it's his to lose or his to get hurt, and which he probably will, but it's Swift for now.
Thunberg had Addison Swift in and say Cousins for 2. Will I be okay?
No, you won't be okay.
And sat Cousins for 2. No, if you had Addison and Swift in your lineup and Cousins, you're probably going to
lose. Will I be okay? You got what, 70 combined points from these guys? What the hell do you want me to say? No, you will not be okay. Of course, that's a great start too. It's go flex on everybody.
I hate getting 70 points on Thursday Night Football. Matthew Wilder, Osborne dropped 2, so watch Jordan get more touches. I agree.
Oh, did he? That's a good point. I didn't realize that he had 2 drops.
And he's just a better player.
Addison's just so much better. It's so clear already.
Matt Engel, half PPR, Pierce, White, Gibbs.
I got to go Gibbs there, 100%.
Yeah, big good stage there. Giuseppe Russo, good morning, fellas. Happy Sunday. Do I go Gibbs, Montgomery, or White? Pick 2. Having Gibbs and Montgomery would drive me nuts. I would hate that all season.
I know. That's going to be so annoying. I go Montgomery over Gibbs for now. I mean, Gibbs is clearly the better talent, but the role right now does belong to Montgomery, the better role. So I'm going to go him, but I am bumping up Gibbs as we talk. I'm like, yeah, I would start Gibbs over this guy. I'm looking at my rankings. I'm like, yeah, Gibbs is a little too low here. But I still have Montgomery's my running back 9 of them. Like, I think a 2-touchdown day is very much in play for Montgomery today. So I really like Montgomery. I'm bumping Gibbs above Breece Hall. Just hate looking at Alexander Madison, my top 15 running backs. That's gross. Oh, why did I do that? I don't even like
And then
it.
you'd go AR-15 over Gino.
Would I go what? Sorry. Oh, yeah,
Anthony
Richardson over
Richardson.
Gino. Yeah, 110%. Yeah.
Giuseppe, Cam or Kyron Williams PPR? I'm going Kyron.
Yeah, we both talked about how Kyron, against this brutal run D, Kyron has the more pass game chops here. So I go Kyron.
Brunel, Jacobs, Dotson, or JSN.
Dotson, not even close. Yeah, not even close.
Seahawks, like that. Russo, Kittle, Higbee, or Laporta.
Kittle.
Sutton or Kirk? I'm going Kirk.
I think I go Sutton. A little split on that one.
I do have Kirk as my receiver 30, so I need it this week.
Yeah, a little biased there.
Russo, Musgrave, or Pitts?
Oh, Musgrave. I don't even know why I hesitated there. Fuck Pitts. Like, he's the worst.
Tunes, I need a RB2 and a flex. PPR, Rashad White, Kyron Williams, Justice Hill, JSN, London. So pick 2 of these.
I need an RB2 and a flex. I'd go White and Williams. I'd go the first 2 that you listed out. What about you, CJ? Any difference?
Yeah, the Justice Hill I think is horrific.
I can't trust Drake London with Jair shadowing him today,
Yeah, and they just can't throw in the ball enough.
They just don't throw.
Matthew Wilder, Mostert, or Kelly?
If I set Desmond Ritter's over under at 100 yards today, would you take the over or the under? Passing.
I honestly, I want to see what they have him listed as.
Take the under, whatever it is. I would go Mostert over Kelly.
He's at 186.
Oh, come on, under. There's no doubt. Like easy. I don't ever like playing unders, but like, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I think 190 would be his career high. Did he ever hit 200?
I don't think so. He's gonna go for like 350 probably.
Yeah.
Wilder, Mostert, or Kelly?
I like Mostert myself. Kelly does have the higher ceiling, of course, but I think a little bit of a riskier play too. So I prefer Mostert myself. What about you?
Yep, I'm with it. Awesome first, or drop Quentin Johnston for Roshan? I would. I don't think Johnston's going to do much until one of these players gets hurt.
Yeah, I did actually pick up Quentin Johnston. Roshan was not on my waiver wire, but Johnston was, and I had an IR spot open, so I picked up Johnston. I'm intrigued because as soon as if something ever happened to Keenan or Mike, he'd be that guy that everyone's blowing their money on, and deservedly so. He's a talent, but for right now, you're not getting anything out of Quentin Johnston, whereas Roshan could really gain some value today as a.
And that's kind of like an early waiver wire too, where he's gonna maybe be really expensive on Tuesday.
Yeah, I would get Roshan right now. He's going to be the pickup of the week for sure.
Jacob Rollins, full PPR pick one of these: Pittman, McLaurin, Mike Thomas.
It's definitely Pittman. Yeah, he has that rapport with Anthony Richardson, and Richardson just really impressed me. He looked a lot better than I expected.
Hey, my guy Mike Thomas looked pretty good last year.
He did though. Yeah, he did. That Saints team, they got some good receivers there.
I like that team a lot. Yeah, they've been missing the quarterback. I think they finally found
wide open division too. That division's a little scrappy with the Falcons kind of beating teams on the ground and Baker having a little juice over there. Kind of fun in the NFC South.
That is a weird division. Patrick Sullivan, good morning, chaps.
Hey, chaps.
Half PPR, I need one running back and one flex. Kelly, Brees, Daddy, Collins, Shaheed. Pretty good options.
Chargers? I was like, what the hell's char mean? Yeah, a lot of good options here. I would go Brees at running back, and I think I'd go Kelly at flex. I think I just go both running backs in a half PPR format. As much as I'm intrigued by the blow up of a Davis today, I just like the 18 plus touches that both those guys at running back are likely to see. So I'm going running backs.
I'm going Daddy over Kelly.
Daddy over Kelly. All right.
We already got. Oh, that's the Hustler. We already got.
Oh, yeah. Thank you again for your super chat, Texas Hustler. It's so appreciated. And everybody else out there, you want to cut the line? Super chat's the way to do it. Support your boys with a free way. Over 50 a year. Now the numbers are getting back up. You love to see it. That thumbs up button would be so greatly appreciated, Wolfpack. Keep getting us out to more people. Like, shares, retweets, comments. Get some people that you're not facing in fantasy to join that Wolfpack too. It's how we grow. It's how you can support us. Please do consider doing so.
Is it crazy to play Puka over Pickens, Burks, London, Bourne? I kind of like Pickens, but
I like Pickens too with no Deontay, but that didn't mean anything this last week either. They just started targeting Allen Robinson out of the slot. I think it's justifiable. I have Puka at 28, Pickens at 26, so it's very, very close. And we know, Tunes, that you're Puka till you die. Talking about body pillows. You're probably going to town at night humping that thing. So Puka for you, Tunes, it's justifiable. They're same tier. They're 2 spots away from each other. So that's fine with me. In PPR,
Steelers' offense isn't going to be that horrific all season, is it? Like, that was really scary. I know as the Niners was a tough spot, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Niners is about as tough of draw as you can have. So this will be a good test on Monday night. But I think the Browns are a sneaky good defense, too. I mean, they shut down the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
The weather was there, too.
Yeah, that is a tough matchup. I was going to say Pickens.
I don't mind Puka there.
Tune, just go with your gut, play Puka. You know you want to. Dane Jennings just responded to Wilder. Hamza.
That's the Eagles inside.
Zay or Lockett full PPR?
Oh, Zay. Yeah, definitely Zay. Absolutely.
And then,
I'm going to check where I have Lockett because I don't feel good about these receivers for the Seahawks besides DK, who can just kind of always get it done. So I got DK at 16. I'm bumping Lockett down. I have him way higher than I thought I should. I'm putting him down under Puka. I'd rather play Puka than Tyler Lockett this week. I'd rather play Romeo Dobbs than Tyler Lockett. All right, so I'm bumping Lockett down. So incoming Lockett moon bomb today, no doubt about it.
And it's always like multiple too. It's either 2 or 3, and it's like
right.
They're at like their own 30-yard line.
Right.
Hustler, should he keep Gainwell or are you over Gainwell?
I think so. I think it depends on what's out there and what you can pick up. Like if I could have Roshan, I'd probably drop Gainwell. But there's no guarantee that Swift. I think Swift does hold the job, and he was just that much better. But that's just my opinion. I'm not on the coaching staff. I have no idea what this inconsistent, usage of running backs, what they're going to do. So I would keep him around to see what happens once he's back. But I personally think he's dead and gone at this point. So if there is something intriguing in your waiver wire, Hustler, let us know. Let us know who's out there, who you're looking at. I do lean that you should keep him because he did have the job to start the year. I just think Swift's that much better. So we'll see. What do you think? Do you think he's just trash now, Gainwell?
No, I mean, obviously it depends on the bench, but no, I'd keep Gainwell. That's such a weird backfield. Swift gets hurt all the time. I'd be fine stashing.
There you go. All right, we got another call in. Add to the stage. Mr. Russo, what's going on, brother? Hey. Repping the gear. Got the girl. Look at that.
Yeah, they were there when you were born.
Yeah.
We were in the delivery room giving your daddy some story advice.
How we doing,
I
fellas?
love it, man.
So I was thinking, do I really go Gibbs and Monty, or should I start Rashad White over Gibbs PPR?
I don't mind going both of the Lions backs. Last year, the second most expected points as a backfield. I think both those guys can eat. So much of the offense flows through them. And I just don't like Rashad White myself. I think he sucks.
I agree.
He, especially after seeing what Swift did to that Vikings defense. I think at first I was like, the role is good for White. We can give him another chance. And then to see another running back that got another 25 touches go completely ham. I think White's just not a good player. I really don't think he's a baller. So
Let's go Detroit.
Let's go Detroit backfield. I mean, if you started Tyron and Cam Akers, a lesser backfield last week, you would have 3 combined touchdowns. So I think this is a good week to have them both in, my man.
All right, thank you guys. Roto Street for life. Take care.
Hey, cheers, Giuseppe. Good luck. Love it. We've had some of the best call-ins before from the delivery room. I mean, what gets better than that?
Really? Forgot about that.
That was so funny. That was like New Year's Eve, if I'm not mistaken.
It was
New
around
Year's
there,
Day.
yeah. Yeah, I think it was. Arthur Smith has Algier on his fantasy team. That would not surprise me at all.
I think so too. It's honestly the way he uses him. I missed on Algier this offseason. I was like, Bijan's just that good. I wish I had more Algier. I don't think I took him in a single draft.
It also just makes it so like, why did they even draft Bijan?
Yeah, right. You're gonna do that, right?
Makes no sense. Moreno, good morning, gents. Would you start Puka, Algier, or Javante in the flex?
Full PPR changes this a little bit, I think. I definitely like Algier over Javante. So it comes up to Puka versus Algier. I mean, I like Algier today. I think he's going to get into the end zone again. What about you?
Yeah. Arthur Smith has him on his fantasy team.
Exactly. I mean, full PPR does favor a guy like Puka, who's just an absolute target hog. As crazy as that is to say, it's true. But I lean Algier. I do. I think he's just going to run wild all year. He's a hammer, and it's a good run blocking line, and it's a bad run in the Packers. So, yeah, I'm going to keep going Algier, even though the settings might say to go Puka there.
Want to rip a few? I need to post my underdog. Please.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, CJ's getting some underdog picks up for you guys over on Instagram. Definitely go check those on out and use code RSJ if you haven't signed up. We got some. I thought some underdog checks kind of trickling into the bank account, so it's not dead over there, which is nice. People still using code RSJ, and we got 5 signups last week. Not bad. So
yeah, and free square this week if you guys want to play Christian McCaffrey over a half total yard, which I think you should hit.
Did you see their free square on Monday Night Football? Was Aaron Rodgers for a half yard? Oh,
they're great guys though. They did refund it, so it's good.
Oh, it looks like Campanelli did message in that we had a couple super chats. I'm so sorry that we must have missed his message. So let's try to pull those up. Well, I know you're doing your thing, so I'll find those. We have Davey Dave, and then I think we have one other one. So I'm going to pull in Davey Dave, McLaurin, Mostert, or Moss. Full PPR flex. I think McLaurin's going to get shadowed by Surtain. I'd rather avoid that situation myself. If it ends up getting flipped and Dotson's the one getting shadowed, then McLaurin's going to go nuts. But my guess is, McLaurin is that true number one. So he gets the shadow coverage, and ultimately he struggles because of it. I like Mostert here of these guys. I don't want to go to Moss if I don't have to. I think he's a decent plug-in, but to me, I like Mostert. I feel 80% of the snaps in the backfield, that one of the best offenses in the league. I can go for that. So I like Mostert out of McLaurin, Mostert, and Moss. I know you're a little busy over there, CJ, but what do you think of those three for the super chat?
I'd probably go Mostert, McLaurin, Moss.
Yep, I rank them the exact same way. So, all right, we're in locks up there. Good luck, Davey Dave. Thank you again so much for the support. It does look like we got to Anthony Fellas as well. We already answered that one, Dobbs or Davis. I went Dobbs, and CJ went Daddy Davis there. Just as
I was going to say, you might have to rip a little bit. We have like 20 minutes left.
Yeah, we're getting there. So is it already time for a rapid fire? I guess so. All righty, Wolfpack. Well, we're going to rapid fire this thing because it is about 20 minutes to kick off, and we got about 100 more questions at least, with more coming in. So as I get ready for this, if you want to cut the line and have me slow down, break down your situation with even more context, please consider that super chat. My man Campanelli will be out there looking for that. I will then now rip as fast as I can to get through all these questions before kickoff. And if you want to just give us a thumbs up button as we go, really would mean the world and help us grow. All righty, guys. Dobbs, Terry, or Judy. I am going Dobbs there. I really like Dobbs of those three. Hud bat. Tunes, Watson, Love, or Danny Dimes. I'm going back to the Dimes. I'm going to give him one more shot. Let's see how it goes. Utman for Brandon. Brandon Utman. Full PPR. Dobbs, Marquise, Khalil, Gabe, Robinson, Shaheed, or Justice Hill. I'm going Gabe Davis, and I'm going Romeo Dobbs there, and full PPR Brandon. PPR flex, Nico or Darren Waller or A. Cooper. A. Cooper's probably not going to play, and I would go Darren Waller there. I'd wonder what your tight end situation is, though, as well. Really crowded running back room for Brad Emseret. Need 2 out of Najee, Rashad, Monty, Javante, Damian Pierce. Thanks, gents. I would go Monty. That's my favorite here. And then I would go Rashad White. I know I talk about not loving him, but out of these other guys, I like him a little bit more on that volume, Brad. Definitely a crowded room. Brees or Rashawn for DJ. I would go Brees. Half PPR, JSN, Bourne, or Dell. I'm going to go Kendrick Bourne there, DJ Johnson. I want to make sure my rankings reflect that too. But I'm big into Bourne, and I'm definitely lower on this Seahawks passing game at least until I see Geno bounce back. He had a huge game against Detroit last year. It's absolutely possible he does the same again, but I'm going to wait to see it, and I'm going to bump JSN below Kendrick Bourne right now on the ranks. All righty. That is getting published now. All right. That is updated. Published rankings. Hold on. Sorry. Thank you guys for the patience as I just get this updated before I continue on my rapid fire. Fantasy Pros will penalize me if I do not. All right. Droid, Gents, Sutton, Puka, D-Hop, Atwell, Zach Moss. I'm definitely going Puka there. And I would go Ravens over the Bills. Campanelli super chat. No, I thought you popped on for a super chat, Campanelli, but it doesn't look like there is one. 1 second. Now I lost my place. Throw me off, Campanelli. Keep that camera off unless I say it. No, I'm just obviously kidding. Don't leave, Campanelli. I was just absolutely kidding. We still need you there. Do monitor those super chats. There he is. All right. Brunel Jacobs. I was just kidding, my man. Brunel Jacobs. Dan Carlson got dropped. I'd rather have Bass myself, Brunel. I would drop Deion Jackson just at the yes for Kendra. Nathan Berry. Sutton or Burke, since you didn't answer my text, you jerk. Yeah, shut up. That L taste. Now I'm not answering for you, Nathan Berry. No, I'd go Sutton. Higbee or Ferguson, PPR. I would go Higbee. 0-1. Fuck off, Dave. Todd Exotic, what's going on, brother? Feeling of NFL Sundays before the game start is unrivaled. I agree, because we still have hope right now. Cannot wait for it to be all washed away. Need 2 running backs in a flex. Cook, Pacheco, Pierce. I would go Cook and Pacheco, and I would go for the flex Mostert. There, Todd Exotic. Dan Dwyer, Zach Moss or Gabe Davis. I'm going to go Gabe Davis, Dan Dwyer. I think Dobbs isn't ruled out, right? Brunel just commented Dobbs is ruled out. I don't think that's true. He said I think, but I might be thinking of Christian Watson. Can you double check that for me, CJay? Because that would throw a wrench in my lineup for sure. Happy Football Sunday, fella. Thank you, Y2J. Great to see you. Who should I play? My one flex spot. Dobbs, Judy, Nacua. I would go Nacua just slightly over Dobbs.
No, I don't see any. No Dobbs issues.
Okay, cool. I would go Kendrick Bourne there. Just hope for another huge day. Mark De Silva, happy football day indeed. Brian Robinson, Montgomery, Akers, or Mostert. I would go Montgomery for sure, and then I would go Brian Robinson over the. I'd go Mostert actually over Brian Robinson, and trade Flowers and Mitchell for my London and Akers. Yes, I would absolutely do that. You're getting the best player in the deal in Flowers. I think he's definitely better than London at this point. And then Mitchell versus Akers, whatever. I would want Flowers for sure. Flex 1, Mike Williams, Javonte Williams, Dalvin Cook, Nacua, Moss. I love Mike Williams today. Y2J. Should I keep Mike Evans in my starting line? Oh, yeah, we already talked about it, Titan. Thank you again for that super chat. But, yes, you definitely keep Mike Evans in there. Judy or Mike Thomas? I go Mike Thomas, Sebastian. And I would keep it as you have it. Flex, Dobbs or Collins? I would go Dobbs, Steven Hernandez. My bad, I was going to say Ravens, Bills, and Browns defense. I actually like the Browns defense the best out there, really. Josh Kelley or Gabe Davis? I would go Josh Kelley myself. If you need the upside, though, I see that context, Jeremiah. Davis definitely has the better ceiling, but most cases I do go Josh Kelley. But, yeah, I get what you're saying there. You're feeling that Davis dice roll. Let it rip. Start 2 PPR, Dalton Kincaid, Bateman, Tutu Atwell, Rashawn Johnson. I would go Tutu and Rashawn, I think. And let's see. Kincaid I'm intrigued by, but I want to see that. Mitch, we already hit you, my man, on that too. Yeah, that Colin. Great to see you. Rashad White, A.J. Dillon, Damian Pierce, or Dobbs in the flex. I'd go A.J. Dillon for that. Happy birthday to Mahomes. Expect a big day. Yeah, I'm sure he will. In big day anyways, but especially on that birthday. Mike Will, Najee, or Josh Kelley. I'm going Mike Will there, OD. CJay, you ready for that Ohio beatdown next week in South Bend?
Yeah, big one next weekend.
That is a big one.
College football slate is incredible, by the way, for those guys.
I can't wait. Oh, good stuff. That should be a good battle there. Mr. Trey Saracinco, Pitbull, what's going on? Hope all is good with you too. Monty or Jay Cook and Algier B. Hall. I would go Brees and I would go Monty over James Cook-Lucio. Justice Hill, Godwin, or DJ Moore. I'd go DJ Moore. Only Eddie. I think he rebounds solidly today. Flex spot, full PPR, pick one. Pickens, Algier, London, Rice for KC. I'd go Algier there, David. Bateman doesn't change anything for me. We do have a super chat coming in, so I'm going to pause the rapid fire here. So David W wants. Oh, it's my man Omar. Good to see you, my man. What's up? Thank you so much for the support, Omar. You consistently toss us those super chats. It means the world. Got word Amari Cooper unlikely to play. Would you play Moore in place of either Puka or Judy? I would go Moore over Judy. I'd play Puka and I would play Eli Moore. I love Puka. You paid all the money to go get him on the waivers. Let him rip. I'd rather wait and see with Judy. That offense in general, I'm not too keen on yet. So I would go Moore over Judy as a potential target hog. And maybe this is a coming out party for him this week. And you're a Browns fan, if I'm not mistaken, Omar. So I go Puka and I go Eli Moore. What about you, CJay?
Puka, Elijah. I have Elijah over Puka in my game, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm not gonna go Elijah Moore over Puka. I'll go Judy Moore.
You go Judy over Puka?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm fading
really
Puka. I'm fading myself this week.
I think you're gonna regret trading Puka. I think he just fits this role perfectly, and I'm a huge fan. So I'm going Puka. I'm going Moore. I'd rather wait and see on Judy. I could easily see, Judy comes back for a snap and then he's limping off, and now we're dealing with a whole re-aggravation thing. I'd rather not take that risk on. Full point PPR. Thank you, Mr. Trey Saracinko, for the super chat as well. Herbert, Scott Moore, Bateman, or Sean. Oh boy. I think we're gonna go with a Bears running back. And I prefer Khalil Herbert still as the starter. Still looked pretty good on his touches last week. Roschon got his work more in garbage time. I think he rolls in more often this week, but you still got to go with the starter for now. What do you think about Khalil Herbert versus Roschon?
I was actually just looking at that. I was just looking at that on Underdog if I liked Herbert's unders, but I still think, especially with 4-0, I'm going to go Herbert just because he's going to start. I feel a little bit safer with Herbert, although the ceiling's higher with Roschon.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the Bears' backs, and I agree. It's Herbert for now. Maybe that flips soon, but it hasn't flipped yet. So let's keep that steady. All righty, we left off. I'm just trying to find it. We're Jeremiah Moore, Jacob Rollins. There's David. All righty, my man Charlie. Tough matchup for Howell versus Denver or Daddy Davis in the Superflex. I always go quarterback in Superflex. It's just safer. For me, Charlie. And I don't know how tough that Denver defense really is, at least in the second. Who should I start flex full PPR? I'd go Brees Hall over Nico for sure, Henry. Gonzo. We answered that one. I would go Nico for sure. Deshaun or Jordan Love is QB2. I would go I like Jordan Love a lot today, actually. I dropped Rashad 2. Maybe I think you can stash him, David. Starting AR or Fields today? Who's Anthony Richardson? I think I'd go Anthony Richardson.
I'm going Fields.
We need a new slogan for Let's Go. I don't even know what you're talking about. But I love Let's Go. So no. Let's go.
It's so overused. It's kind of funny, but
I still love it. Tom Brady will always live in my heart. Brees Hall over Kyron Williams for me, Matt B. Roschon over Gibson. I don't trust Antonio Gibson at all right now. I would go Debo over Zay. Danzel. CH is active. That's weird. It's not showing up on my rankings, but I might have to toss it back on there. Watson or Lamar, and McLaurin or London. I'd go Lamar over Watson, and I would go McLaurin over London. Jair. Krana. Favorite snack to eat during the game? I love wings. You can't really beat wings during a game. And do you have a favorite snack, CJ?
No, not really. Booze.
Yogurt. Boring over there. Flex one PPR. Lockett, Dobbs, Dotson, B. Robinson, Dotson twice. Mostert. I like Dotson to rebound. I really do. And I don't like Burks, Chrono, so I'm going to go Dotson there. And if you wanted to go B-Rob and go with the safer touches, That's fine as well. Looks like that's the same question a couple times. Stevenson or Pacheco? I got to go Stevenson there. Judy or Shaheed? I would go, I think, Shaheed there. Tunes. Snoopy, what's up? How's it going? Nico, Judy, and Elijah Moore. I would go Elijah Moore there, especially with this recent news. Dobbs or Elijah Moore? Flex, I prefer Dobbs myself. Mike Clay. Kirk or Dotson PPR flex? I would go Dotson for sure. Michael Reeves. Kelly, Javante, Rashawn. I would go Josh Kelley there. Mike Clay. Najee Harris, Zay Jones, or Puka for David? I would go Puka. Let's do it, David. Alec Correll, full PPR, pick 2, Godwin, Dobbs, or Algier. I would do Algier, and I would do Godwin.
Hey, anyone in
Javante,
the Massachusetts area? The best drink going right now.
Spiked iced tea?
Yep.
I haven't tried those yet. Nice.
Awesome.
I don't trust Dunkin's with my alcohol. No, thank you.
They're very, very good.
Javante, A.J. Dillon, Brees Hall, Nacua. Pick 2 running back in a flex. I benched Javante, and I played Nacua in the flex. Komet or Musgrave? I love Musgrave today. Gibbs or Rashad White? I go Gibbs for sure. And we already talked about that with you, Giuseppe. Drop Geno for Spears or Elijah Moore? Yeah, go get Elijah Moore. See what he does. I also like Spears too, especially if you don't need Geno. Happy Sunday, Wolf CJay and the Wolf Pack. Thank you, Kristen Mann. Full PPR, need wide receiver 2 and running back 2 and flex. Dotson, McLaurin, Juju, not Juju, that's for sure. Robert Woods, Pacheco, Brees Hall, Jalen Warren. Alrighty, I'm definitely going Brees Hall. I like Pacheco for the flex, and I like Dotson for the wide receiver 2 spot. What 2 teams do you root for? We're Pats fans, baby. Are you still a Pats fan, CJ?
Yeah, I'm there. They impressed me on Sunday. I like what I'm saying. Isn't it crazy that when you get coached by like a real guy that knows offense, that the offense looks better?
It's shocking. I know. when you're a shitty D coordinator, isn't your actual offensive coordinator? Yeah. He's not even good at what he's supposed to do. Never mind what he's not supposed to do. Good God, what a disaster.
Did you hear the I know we have to go, but Darius Slay after the game was like, yeah, Patricia came in at halftime and really gave us a boost because he said to keep going out there.
Wow. yeah, great.
Good stuff.
What a legendary speech. And Kristen, I think I still stay with Pacheco over. He would be like the first one that Mostert could go over, but I would still go Pacheco. In need of a flex non-PPR, Bourne, Sanders, Pacheco, or Lockett. I would go Pacheco PE. Sky Moore, Jalen Warren, or Josh Reynolds for flex number 2. Oh, boy. We are in some dire straits here, brother. We need you calling in and sharing your pain on the this is the Meat Sweats. Change your YouTube name to Meat Sweats, Cole. I mean, I'd probably go Josh Reynolds, honestly. Like, I don't trust Sky Moore at all. Maybe he has a coming out party and you can feel better. But the fact that he couldn't do anything without Kelsey there, no thanks. Jalen Warren, I just don't know how you can trust him, even though he's seen a little bit more work. Warren versus Josh Reynolds or Sky Moore, I don't know. What do you think, CJ? I know we're rapid fire, but you got to give the Meat Sweats a double answer here. I think I actually kind of like Josh Reynolds best out of these 3, which is sickening.
I think Warren. I was actually close to starting him in the league. I don't really want to talk about it. But yeah, I think I'm going Warren here.
Maybe. Do we have a super chat? Is that Campanelli saying 6-minute warning? Oh, okay. So yeah, thank you for the heads up, Campanelli. Let me keep ripping through. We're almost at the bottom of the mailbag at this point too. We're getting close to caught up. PE, need a flex. Oh, second repeat of the day. PE might be going to timeout soon. We'll see. We haven't had any timeouts yet today. I wonder if I banned those others one by accident. I don't think I've seen their names yet. They didn't like their stay and not timeout, it doesn't seem. They didn't think about what they did. They just left. Rashad White or Nico Collins. I would go Rashad White. I know I'm talking about I don't like the player at all. I love the volume. Let's see what he does against a bad defense. But if he sucks this week, I'm done. I'm out completely. But this is his chance. Full PPR, pick 2. 2-2. Brian Robinson and Pickens. I benched 2-2 out of those ones. Brady. Oh, it is. Timeout time for PE. With a 3-time repeat. So PE, he must be new here. I'm not not banning you, just putting you in timeout because your comments keep popping up, and we're in the middle of a rapid fire. So go to the naughty bench, think about what you've done, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Full PPR, Dotson, Rashad White, or James Cool. James Cook is what I imagine you mean, and I'm going to go Dotson over those ones. But James Cool sounds pretty intriguing. John Harper, need to for flex. Full PPR, Brian Robinson, Mostert, Lockett, or Bourne. I would go B-Rob, and I'd go Mostert there, John Harper. Algier or Pierce, Mike? I'm going Algier. Just bad run defense, and he seems like he's just going to get 15 carries and a touchdown every week. Nacua or Dobbs? I'm going to go Nacua. They're very close for me, Mike Clay. Hurts and Hockey Socks. Even Jake Elliott balled out for me already. Let's go. Hockey Socks must be Hawkinson. So, yeah, let's go, Y2J. Nothing like that. There's nothing worse than starting with a horrible deficit on Thursday, like I'm in. 40 points from the two players I faced. But there's nothing better than being up by like 50 going into your matchup, just feeling big. So, yeah, that's awesome. Puka or B-Rob, happy PRTN. I'm going to go B-Rob there. Kelley or Mostert? I'd go Mostertly. Happy PR Flex, Shaheed or Zach Moss? I would go Zach Moss, I think, Dylan. George Pickens or Zay Flowers? Definitely Zay Flowers for me, Jeff Lee. Good to see you, Jeff Lee. Puka or Zay Flowers? Going to be Zay Flowers for me, Joe. Tomas from Panama, if I'm not mistaken, right, Tomas? Second flex, Cam Kyron, Jay Warren, or JSN. I'm going to go Kyron there in the second flex, Tomas. Space Ghost, Allen Robinson or Antonio Gibson in the flex. Oh, I guess that's where I would go, Gibson. Stantine, week 2 flex spot. Josh Kelley. It does say PE was banned and their comments was removed. I've been clicking the put user in timeout button, but I don't know what's happening with that. So,
It's all right. You can just ban everybody from watching.
I don't want to ban these people.
No,
like,
no.
I wonder because the first option says put user in timeout or ban user and delete their comments. So I don't know. I don't want to ban people though, but hey, whatever. I would go Tyler Algier here for the flex spot. Stantine, Rashid the speed. I like that though. Should I have Chase? Should I flex Higgins or Herbert? Dotson and Laporta. You guys just go double Bengals there. I know last week sucked, but they'll get it back on track. I'd go James Cook over Kelley for you, Lee. Puka or Rashad White. I would go, I guess Rashad White, but it's close. Good luck, chat. Hope everyone balls out. I agree, Y2J. Love that camaraderie. Big Daddy, Tyler Lockett or Tutu Atwell in flex PPR. I'd go Lockett, but it's shockingly closer than it probably should be. Drop Sutton for Nico Collins the rest of the season? I don't think so, Tien. I'd rather see what this offense can kind of evolve into throughout the year. Jamal Williams over Nacua for me, Joe. Jeremy Perkins. Got to sit one in full PPR. Puka, Dotson, or Kelley. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think this is one where I would sit Puka. And Tua or Josh. I'm guessing Josh is Josh Allen. If that's the case, it's Josh Allen. As much as I do love Tua this week, I would go Josh Allen. Mike. All righty. Wolfpack, that brings us to the end. On your way out, that thumbs up button for one last push would be so greatly appreciated. Subbing to the channel if you're new around here. Big Daddy, Joe Picker, some people I don't recognize. Just hit that sub button. We'll be live right around 7:30 tonight. Me and the Truth recapping the game ahead of the Patriots night game. Can't wait for that too. Best of luck, Wolfpack. Get those dubs in week 2. Let's go. For whoever hated that, I don't remember who it was, but let's go. And let's go get those week 2 dubs, baby. Best of luck, Wolfpack. Hope to see you at 7:30. Me and the Truth recapping all of today's action and an early look at the waiver wire. We'll see you then. In a world of the fantasy sheep, be the Wolf guys. Later.